Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Spaced Out Radio tonight. How y'all doing, my friends? We are back for another weekend. We're hoping my voice holds out for tonight as Samuel Chong is here. The Uba Prophecy. Oh my God. I know you probably don't know what it is, but I'm going to tell you, we are going to have a ton of fun with Samuel tonight. Dirty Fylth is back with the cartoons as well. But you know what? We got to say hello to each and every one of you. That's what we do here, starting off with Race Fan in the gold medal position. Awesome Man B with the silver. Roy Boy taking home the bronze. The gorgeous Trisha is here. She'll be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio, if you don't mind. To the left of the studio. Les Paul Holland. Awesome Man Palmer. How are you? Big Bad Dank. Nice to have you back. Dank will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio. To the right of the studio. John Hinojosa and Brown Dwarf, how you doing? Thank you for joining us tonight. As we continue on, there's Dirty Fylth, our man Hallie. How you guys doing? Thank you for joining us. Ozzy, oi, oi to you, my friend. Luscious Jules, good to see you. As we continue on with roll call here tonight, Jurassic Joey, always a pleasure to have you here. Millennium, my man, how are you? Good to have you here. Simon in Australia, thank you for joining us. The gorgeous Margie O. Doug Shelby is here. The Doug Shelby has arrived, which means we can officially start the show. Michael Morris, nice to see you. And we continue on with roll call, and I got a little fly buzzing around here. Damn things. All right, moving on. Noble Patrick, thanks for coming on in. The lovely Jenny and the gorgeous, lovely Lara. How are you both? Stu Gerson, nice to see you. Noble Patrick, always a pleasure, my friend. As we continue on with the roll call, there's Simon, the dog face boy, kicking off the super chat tonight. Thank you, Simon. We really do appreciate it. The super chat is a wonderful way to show what your value we have to you, so we really do appreciate it. A Muse, Desert Rat, nice to have you both here. Alien Critter and the gorgeous Cosmic Floor, thank you for coming on in. Nicholas Shaughnessy, that little pencil stash you have is coming in thick, man. There's number 13 in your program from Patea, Sweden, Lars Janssen. He'll be starting on defense tonight. Moving on, Dim to Dim and the Gong Show. Thank you for joining us as we really appreciate your love and support. Here we go. There's sweet Donna Spencer looking good tonight. And who else is joining us? Chris. Excuse me. Teen, how are you? Looking good tonight. Parasolo, nice to see you. Joshua S. and Digger Dog. George Hernandez, thank you for coming on in. As we continue on with roll call, Impish Sun Bunny, welcome to SOR chat for the first time. There's one of our favorite veterans, Black Dragon. We love our veterans around here. They always have a safe place. And you always have a safe place in our chat rooms. D. Cohen, nice to see you here. EMF, you're unbelievable. Oh, thank you for joining us as we continue on with roll call. There's Simon's super chat. We really do appreciate that, Simon. Thank you again. Once again, really, yeah, I can't speak tonight. Lovely Lisa Compton. Majdi, you're back. Welcome back. And who else do we have here? Awesome Annie Svensson. Nice to see you. And Zune, good to have you back. Steve Stockton, how's the beard and mustache? Please give us an update if you don't mind. Hey, there's little Tara Spender. How's Baxter doing? Please let us know. Eminem from M, Mr. Cecil, how you doing? And who else do we have here? Jazzy Small, nice to see you again. And let's see, JKGN, nice to have you here. The Crypto Guru is here. It's Guru time here on the Mighty SOR. Love you, buddy. Thanks for coming on in. And Zach Martin, nice to see you. We got 30 seconds. Can we get this done? I think we can. I'm feeling it. Bassmaster, nice to see you. And we are all caught up in the chat room for the time being. The super chat is open. Once again, a wonderful way to support what we do. Nightmare, how you doing? And of course, shop at spacedoutradio.com. We got great swag there for you. And so go check it on out and make sure you fill it out properly. All right, here we go, everyone. Let's rock. Of Central British Columbia to you listening around the world. This, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. You can follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read Shirky Poo's Newswire, check out our swag as well. Tonight's show is brought to you by CHIVE Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting CHIVE Charities today. You can find them on right to it. Let's do this thing. We got a great show for you tonight as Samuel Chong is here. We're going to go over the Uba Prophecy. Man, aliens, ghosts, paranormal, prophetic sightings in the future and the past. Wow, we're getting into it big time tonight. Then in hour number 3, the Swamp Dweller is back with another spooky story. Tim Senor will be here for the UFO report. Shirky Poo will have the news. All right, Samuel Chong is a certified court interpreter and Chinese translator, instrumental in arranging for the Chinese publication of Michel Desmarques's book, The Uba Prophecy, which has been a bestseller in both China and Taiwan, which is a rare phenomena. He also translated the book 334% Lies, The Revelation of H.M. versus Stool, an autobiography of the High Master of the Chair of a Secret Society that was started in Germany. Today, he dedicates his efforts in promoting the messages in these books in order to give people hope and to help promote a better world through his scholarship, which can be found at chinasona.org/scholarship.html. He graduated from UC Berkeley with a BA in economics, Universidad Carlos III de Madrid with a master's in financial analysis, and he currently resides in LA, California. Let's bring him on here, our good friend, Samuel Chong. We really do appreciate you joining us tonight. Samuel, how are you?
Good, very good. Thank you, Dave.
It's such a pleasure to have you because, you know, I think for a lot of us, we're pretty ignorant when it comes to all the paranormal stuff that happens in Asia. You know, it doesn't matter which country it is. What fascinates you about prophecy and the paranormal?
I have always been fascinated by all the paranormal and also the strange phenomena that occurred in China and around the world. So when I was young, I was very curious about everything. I was curious about the UFOs, curious about the Bermuda Triangle, very interested in knowing the Great Pyramid in Egypt. And I was also very curious about why some people can actually see ghosts and even communicate with them and to learn about the things that the average person would have known about. And I was curious about all these things, and I was very interested in learning more and more about it. And I was also very interested in progressing much faster than anyone else. I think when I was young, my main goal was to learn from the best. And in order to learn from the best, I always wanted to find the best teacher. In my mind, if an alien, if an ET could travel to Earth and to find us, their technology must be far more advanced than ours. Then what we just learn from them, learn from them, and to learn from their technologies or maybe their knowledge, so that we can just progress and move much faster. That was the thought that I had when I was young, and I was really interested in taking a shortcut to better advancement.
Now, for you growing up with having all of these curiosities, I mean, coming from communist China, which the majority of us here in North America, as you know, have been grown up and had to put in our head that, you know, things like this aren't very legal and they're not very talked about. How paranormal is China?
China is actually very, very paranormal, and there are a lot of UFO sightings, and people claim that they see ghosts all the time. There are a lot of psychics in China, a lot of mediums too, and people also believe in prophecies. In fact, there are a lot of ancient Chinese books that prophesize what's going to happen in the future, and they're really quite accurate. And Chinese people also believe in face readings, palm readings. And also they have a special form of astrology in which you just give them the birth date, time, and also the location. They're able to tell you what your future lies. And the Chinese government normally doesn't talk about this. I mean, for a brief period of time, they allowed everything to be published. But now they're more strict. But people still have this kind of culture and also heritage and generations of belief and folklore. So they still believe in a lot of the paranormal things.
Wow. And is it quite talked about? Like, never mind when the government, obviously the government has their rules and everything, but behind the scenes when government officials aren't around, are people quite endeared with the conversation of paranormal and supernatural events?
Yes, there are, and there are a lot of people who have this kind of psychic abilities, and people go to them, pay them money to in order to get information about the dead, and also to get healed. And also, there are some private organizations about UFOs, and people who have this kind of healing abilities also promote how to have this kind of abilities by practicing qigong or energy healings.
Right. I want to ask you, just quickly switching topics here, because UFOs have been such a hot button topic the last few years, and we've heard, you know, very few words, even though it's come out that the Chinese government is very much now studying unidentified aerial phenomena as part of, you know, every country is right now, whether it's for the technology or whether it's the you know, just the idea whether to learn whether or not we're alone in the universe. Have you been following what has been going on in China regarding this conversation?
Yes, I've been following them a little bit, and I know that China actually has been secretly collaborating with other countries. It's actually an international organization, an international group that studies the technologies that the ETs have brought us here. And I know that the Chinese government has some secret, um, like whether it's military or non-military organizations that focus on this kind of things.
How do you feel about that?
I think they should, I mean, not just China, but other countries in the world should make this public, because we are existing in this world just to learn, to progress, and the information, if it's made public, will bring truth to the world and to help the world become a better world.
You see, that's what worries me, even in the United States, about this whole disclosure movement. I call it more of a confirmation movement, because true disclosure would have everything released, Roswell and beyond that, and leading up to where we are today, but with the world being in such a military industrial complex still, I don't see a proper disclosure ever happening. Would you see China trying to beat the United States in some sort of disclosure or confirmation movement?
I really don't see that happening because China is a government. China has a government that focuses more on other things, the ideologies, than disclosing things about the UFOs or ET technologies. Taiwan, on the other hand, is a follower of the United States. So whatever the United States goes, it follows it. So I don't see the two places disclosing anything independently.
Oh, me either. Me either. But, due to that rivalry between, there's an economic and military rivalry, obviously, between China and the United States. And this is why I wonder when it comes to ETs and the whole disclosure movement of UFOs. I mean, it would be knowing that the American government is playing real big games with this topic, from the amount of contact they've had to NASA's stupidity on saying, wow, we didn't know this was going on, and everything in between. I mean, if I was a country like China, I would love to, stick it to the Americans regarding UFOs and what they know.
Yeah, I think this is what's happening right now. China is following the United States too, in a certain sense, and I think we just need to get our acts together to make the disclosure happen. It has to come from the grassroots population. I don't think it's going to come from the government. If it comes from the government, then it's something, probably a certain act of misinformation. We have to help ourselves to get the truth out.
And for you, what do you personally believe? Do you believe that we are being visited by some sort of extraterrestrial life here on Earth that is curious to see what we're up to?
I do. I see that there have been different kinds of ETs visiting Earth since thousands or millions of years ago, and I think there's one type of ET that's been described in this book, the Uba Prophecy, that actually has been guiding us throughout history, from the ancient days of Sodom and Gomorrah, and to Moses going to Mount Sinai, and also to Jesus Christ. And I think my focus has always been to learn from the best. So if this type of ET has been helping us or guiding us from the ancient past, why not pay attention to what they say about us? So this has been my focus since a few years ago. Just try to learn as much as I can, and spiritually and technologically, to learn from this type of ETs.
So you're a big believer that they're already here, they're already helping us, they've been helping us for thousands of years, but they're kind of sitting in the background somewhere, kind of observing what we do to the planet, what we do to our own brothers and sisters. I mean, that's got to be tough in order to really, truly bring in some sort of free will on humanity.
I think, first of all, we have to separate different types of ETs. So there are some ETs that are just observers. They don't interfere with us or our activities. And there are certain other ETs that try to help us indirectly, not directly, because they never serve the meal on the plate. So they believe that we have to help ourselves first before they come onto us and to make themselves public. In fact, I do believe that the ETs already made themselves public in the ancient past. For example, when Moses went to Mount Sinai and the sea was parted, that was actually an ET involvement. I also believe that there are other evidence that ETs have been helping us in the ancient past, not just to help us to technological level, but also, more importantly, help us to grow spiritually and to to realize what the purpose of life is.
Right. And, there's been a lot of scholars say that there is a real ET connection to the Bible. And we're going to get into that a little bit later on in the show. I'm curious for you, though, have you ever had any personal experiences or encounters that keeps your interest going?
I would say just my curiosity. I don't have any encounters with ETs. I don't have any physical or real life experiences like that. Only once in my dream is a very vague dream that I was brought to a location and they say that I have to learn, I have to improve myself until I can go to an upper level, to a higher level, higher category of place. So that's my only instruction by them. I don't know who they are, but this is the instruction that I got.
Well, you know what? Whoever they are, they have visited a lot of people out there, man. They have visited a lot of people. So I think you have got some information deep down that maybe you don't know. I mean, we only recognize one, and it seems to happen a lot more than that. I guess for you, though, being a scholar, being a researcher, being a translator and everything, for you, what would be the importance for you in having a paranormal or extraterrestrial encounter?
I would say it would be important for me to learn about them and not necessarily to have an actual paranormal encounter, because I used to really I really wanted in the past to meet an ET, to see ghosts, and also to be brought to another planet and come back. That's my interest in the past. But after reading this book, The Uba Prophecy, my interest kind of become not as important. What interests me the most is to receive information and to learn more about the things that happen around the world, whether it's paranormal or real life politics. And I really believe that knowledge is important and knowledge is power. And the more we know, the more we empower ourselves and how to respond to situations that we are going to encounter in real life.
So are you a little scared to have an encounter, or is it just you've kind of moved beyond that?
And move beyond that. I'm not scared at all. It's just something I think I have known quite a bit about the paranormal phenomena, and I think I have a lot of explanations for them, whether they're correct or not. But I'm satisfied with my personal knowledge and explanations.
Right, right. Because, we can get you in touch with the right people to have something strange happen. We have that ability. It's nice and simple around here.
That's great. Thank you.
Well, we're going to put the offer on the table for you, just in case. Just in case, because all it would take is a couple of phone calls and maybe a little bit of travel. And my friend, you are off to Woo Land aboard the Woo train to make sure that you have yourself an experience. But for you, as we got about 5 minutes to go before we got to go to break at the bottom of the hour, Samuel Chong is our guest. For you, it's about the research. It's about learning, a lot of the different texts that go along with not only the Uba Prophecy, but everything that's kind of intertwined and connected with that. I mean, realistically, that's a research project, Samuel, that never ends.
Yes, it's a life learning process. It's a life learning experience. What I'm looking for is specific verifiable information that comes from the ETs. I have always been looking for that, and I think I found it. A lot of the other ET or channeled information, they give out very vague and general information that doesn't really satisfy me. What I'm looking for is something that's very, very specific and something that's verifiable, that I can really prove that what they're saying is true.
How do you prove something that happened thousands of years ago through text in scripture?
texts and scriptures of thousands of years ago, they sometimes get distorted. But what I'm interested is in the recent information that we received from the ETs that contains specific and verifiable information, and that we can study and research further, and something that can explain many of the paranormal phenomena, if not all of them. So I think I have achieved the purpose, and I think this is something that I'm very interested in letting more people know about. And I think it's going to be a closure for many of the questions that people have in mind.
Really? So do you think that the answers are solvable, that they are right here on this planet? Mysteries from near-death experiences to after life after death to aliens. You think we already have the answers here?
I believe so. I think so. And I think it's important to know that the book, The Uba Prophecy, contains such answers and such specific verifiable information. And I think I'm very interested in letting more people know about it.
Well, let's start. We got about 2.5 minutes here. Let's start focusing in on the Uba Prophecy. Now, how did this book come along?
It's very interesting. A few years ago, about 6 years ago or so, I was looking on Amazon just to find information about the ETs or encounters or ET abductions. And I was specifically looking for the information that ETs gave us to the contactees. And I accidentally stumbled upon this book. The book's title was originally Abduction to the Ninth Planet, and then it changed to The Uba Prophecy. And I borrowed the book from the library and I read it. And in the very beginning, I thought this was just another UFO contactee book in which I read a lot in the past. But then after I read that chapter, Who is Christ? I couldn't put the book down. It's so much detail. It contains so much detailed information, and they answered all my questions about the Bible and Christianity in general. And I think is something that's very serious information, a serious disclosure of information. And I decided to visit the author, who was residing in Vietnam at that time.
Wow. Did you ever think a book could have that much impact on your life?
I really didn't believe so in the past. You know, I went to 2 psychics in the past. I wanted to know what I was going to do in the future, how my life was going to be like that. Both of them said to me that I was going to become involved in a book of importance. At that time, not even the Bible was considered by me to be a book of importance. I really didn't believe that there was a book that could attract my attention so much as this one did. So it really puzzles me and amazes me until today.
Wow. And so you traveled to Vietnam to meet the author, a gentleman by the name of Michel Desmarquet. And, what was it like meeting him, as we got about 30 seconds to go?
I really didn't know where he lived at that time. I just knew I knew that he was staying in that city on island southern Vietnam. So I had a photo of where he lived, a bungalow, and I landed in that city and showed the photo to the taxi driver and asked him to take me to that bungalow. There I was. The second try I found him.
Wow. Well, that was meant to be. That was totally meant to be. Samuel, I'm going to get you to hold on right there because we are going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. The Uba Prophecy. It deals with paranormal. It deals with aliens. It deals with planets. It deals with history, the Bible. Can they all coexist together? Researcher Samuel Chong is here to break it all down for us. We are having a blast tonight. The Uba Prophecy, up next on Spaced Out Radio. Stay tuned. All right, we're clear. I am totally enthralled with this story. I am totally enthralled.
Yes, it's a very interesting story. And it really amazes me how this book can answer all the questions that I had in mind about the paranormal.
Wow. That is powerful. We got about 5 minutes here. Dirty Fylth, what do you got for us down there, man?
I'm gonna hit that. That was yesterday's drawing.
Oh, the ghosts and the bees. Boo bees. I get it. That's funny.
Yeah, I know.
That's funny. And tonight, I can't make it out yet.
Oh,
I can't make. Oh, well, we got a
all the
UFO
way from Finland.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, you'll have to just wait until the end of the show. Hopefully, you stick around, Dave.
All right, we will do that. We will check in with you in just a little bit here. And Samuel, you having fun so far?
Yes. I'm actually very curious about your experiences and also the messages that the ETs convey to you or pass on to you, especially recently.
Put it right here. This is one of the weirdest ones that happened to me. This going back to January, February of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And in the middle of the night, I got woken up by a friend of mine, Olaf Phillips. And my phone was buzzing, and I turn and look, and I see it's Olaf on the phone, and I answer the phone. I'm like, hey, Olaf, what's up? I was in a dead sleep. And the phone goes click. It hangs up. It calls me right back, and it goes click again, hangs up. So I call Olaf, and his phone rings a couple of times and goes click. Then his phone calls me back a third time, and I answer, I'm like, Olaf, is everything okay? And all I hear is doot, doot, doot. And then the phone goes click, and I start getting hit with shapes like this all through my head. And they were all different colors: pink, purple, yellow, green, orange, red, blue, brown, black, every color you could think of, but the blue one really stuck out for me. And I didn't know what that means. And I was trying to, as it's going on, I'm like, okay, something strange is happening here. Let's meditate on this. What does this mean? Tell me what it means. And I never really got an answer. And I tried calling Olaf back after everything went black again. He didn't answer. And went to his voicemail. The next day, Olaf calls me up, and he's down in somewhere north of San Francisco. He calls me up, and he says, Dave, I didn't call you. I said, what do you mean you didn't call me? I took 3 phone calls from you. He goes, Dave, I checked my phone, and I have no records of my phone calling you.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, I do. And I sent him a snapshot of his phone calling me, and it was 3:33 a.m. Twice at 3:33 a.m. and once at 3:34. And that really tripped him out because his phone showed absolutely no phone calls to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then to get hit with the symbolism, that was the first time that had happened to me. And I just don't know what it means.
I see. Yeah, it's very interesting that you have this kind of experience, and I think, on this, like, the world is going to a very, very interesting destination right now, and I think there are a lot of messages coming to us. Maybe trying to give us some kind of guidance. And I do think we have to combine the guidance from the messages we receive to the real world and to see what is really going on around the world.
Oh, yeah.
behind the scenes and the politics. It's not the politicians that are running the governments. It's actually the people behind them. And I do believe that we have to be very conscientious and open our mind up and to really investigate the things that happen.
My friend, I'm going to get you to hold on right there because we're going to start right now. Second half hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears. Want to remind you that if you missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read Shirky Poo's Newswire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. Breaking down the Uba Prophecy tonight is our guest, Samuel Chong, and we are going to get into this deep, deep book written a number of years ago by an author named Michel Desmarquet, who now lives in Vietnam, and the importance that this book may have in solving many of life's mysteries. And Samuel, thank you so much for being here on Spaced Out Radio tonight. Very much appreciate you taking time for us.
Thank you. And I just want one correction. The author passed away 4 years ago.
Oh, did he? I'm sorry to hear that.
Right after my second visit to him.
So let's go back. Right before the break, you talk about, this book impacting you so much that you had to actually go find the author in Vietnam. And what was that like? And it, in a country of millions of people, it didn't take you very long in order to actually find him.
Right. I did a lot of research on to his exact location. The only information I had was a photo of the bungalow, as I mentioned before. And I really want to explain the reason of me going to visit him. The reason of me really wanted to meet him in person was that in the postscript of the book, it mentions that there are more incredible things that he was not allowed to write in the book. My curiosity was really strong at that time, looking to find the information about the things he was not allowed to write in the book. Because this book, according to my personal perception, was that it contains so much incredible information already. What's more, what's that incredible information that he was not allowed to write in the book? So that's my main reason of going after him and to ask him about it. And hopefully he could tell me that. So that's my reason of going there. And I flew from Los Angeles to Vietnam. And that island really didn't require a visa. And it's the only island in Vietnam that doesn't require a visa for Americans to go there and or Canadians. But after I located his bungalow, he was sleeping at that time. And then when he woke up and then when I met him, he said, "Oh, you came to see me, for what reason?" And I showed him the book that I afterwards I purchased. And he said, "Oh, you're looking for me because of the book." He was really annoyed at that time because he wanted a peaceful life. He didn't want to be bothered by people because of the book. And then I just said, "Oh, I came from far away from Los Angeles. Just wanted to say hello to you and maybe just hopefully we can have lunch or dinner and maybe I can share my experiences, ask you a few questions." And he said, okay. And he just said, okay, and then kind of disinterestedly and indifferently to me or my attitude. So for the first few days like that, he was like that, and he was really not interested in talking to me more about the book, and I tried to find out what his interests were. He loved to play chess, He was a very good chess player, and I played chess with him, and I lost. And when playing the chess with him, I tried to sneak in some questions about the book, questions I had in mind at that time. And then in his thick French accent, he said, "Read the book, read the book." And then he was really, really annoyed at me asking all those questions that seemed to him to be kind of questions that could be found, the answer in which the answers could be found in the book.
Why do you think that the author was so peculiar about answering questions for his book? I mean, like, I could understand somebody wanting their privacy and, not wanting to have to answer to everybody who reads the book, and especially when he feels the answers were already in there. But to write a book of this impact, it just seems a little peculiar that he would, be hiding away in Vietnam, trying to live a ordinary, peaceful life.
I didn't know about that until a week ago when I spoke to someone who had contact with some of the people who organized his lectures. And I learned that during that stage of his life, he was extremely depressed because after he was shown like a paradise, he was sent back to Earth. He was told that you do not belong here. You should go back to Earth and write a book to tell people what happened. So like when a person was shown like a heaven, like a paradise-like world, a person would really wanted to stay there, would really wanted to live there forever, and wouldn't want to come back. But he was sent back and said he didn't belong there. So he was extremely, extremely depressed, and also in the first few years, he almost had an emotional breakdown. And he said to others, "You don't know what those people did to my life." And another reason was that he tried to tell people what happened, and a lot of people didn't really believe him. And even the UFO community, the people in the UFO community at that time really didn't believe him either. So he was in that emotional breakdown or depressed state. He wanted to be alone. But after I began to talk to him, I found out that he really was a person of high, like I would say smart, and I would say he didn't have a lot of education, but he was intuitively really smart. But again, he was depressed, and he told jokes to me all the time, trying to hide his depression, hide his emotional breakdown or downturn.
I can understand that now. That makes sense. I mean, like you said, you go to paradise, they tell you you don't belong here, and they kind of kick you out and go back to Earth and write a book. I mean, that's a big kick in the teeth when you feel you found your own heaven. I mean, that's just unbelievable.
Yes. And in that place, on the planet Theoba, he saw so many beautiful plants and animals, and also the people were really nice to him. And he felt love. He felt being loved by the people on that planet. And he was revealed many, many mysteries in the world, on Earth and also on other planets, about the universe and also about the purpose of life, afterlife, and reincarnation, and also stories in the Bible, and the Bermuda Triangle, the Great Pyramid, and also the statues on Easter Island, and human energy field, how the world politics works, and who are the people really controlling the world? What's the solution? He gives the solution in the book, how we should react, how we should counter the situation what's happening around the world. I find that fascinating.
Right. Now, let's...
And I think Dave is offline right
Dave
now.
just got abducted by aliens.
Maybe. I don't know what happened, but let me just tell you something about the book. It details the author's personal experiences of being taken by a beautiful ET race to their planet for 9 days, and then he was sent back to Earth. On the way to their planet, he was revealed. Okay, please, Dave.
Sorry about that. I don't know why this program is all of a sudden acting up on me a little bit, but let's just quickly. I wanted to ask you about the author Michel Desmarquet in regards to who had abducted him. Number one, and number two, where did they take him to?
Okay, he was abducted or taken or invited to a planet called Theoba by a very beautiful race of ETs. So they're really tall. They're like 9 foot tall. They're blonde, mostly blonde. They're hermaphrodites, like male and female. They're together, hermaphrodites, and they are really loving people. They're highly intelligent. They seem to know all the information that one should know. And more importantly, they come from the 9th category of planet, because according to them, in the universe, planets are categorized by different levels from 1 to 9. 1 being the lowest level. Earth is category 1 planet, and their planet, Theoba, is category 9, the highest level of planet on Earth. And the higher level, above 9, would be the Great Spirit, which is the spirit that got the whole universe started. The Big Bang Theory, very similar to the Big Bang Theory that started from a Great Spirit, the ether, in other words. So this race of ETs is extraordinary, in which, according to them, they have guided us and provided indirect assistance throughout history. And some of those indirect helps were recorded in the ancient scripts.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so the fact that he was taken out into the stars, does he remember the constellation that he was taken to, or the galaxy, or where they may have taken him, and where Theoba is?
He was told which constellation he was taken to, but he really didn't reveal that in the book. We can only guess. It's something that I don't want to put it out there, but it's a constellation. It's in our galaxy.
Wow. Okay. And how long was he gone for?
He was gone for 9 days. He stayed 9 days on that planet, and he came back. He was gone for, like, Earth time, probably 10 days. On that planet, 9 days.
And nobody had noticed that he was gone?
Actually, his wife noticed it and interrogated him after he came back. When he was invited or taken or abducted to that planet, he was awakened in the middle of the night, like in midnight. And then he didn't know what happened, but he kind of automatically, without his will, he wrote a piece of note. I will be gone for 10 days. Don't worry, I'll be safe. He left a note at his home, and then his wife saw the note and didn't report to the police. And then when he came back, and then he spoke about the event that happened to his wife and his son, Peter Desmarquet, and then afterwards he wrote the book.
Wow. That almost sounds identical to former LA Times editor Philip Kraft, who was taken by a group of aliens called the Verdants in the 1990s. And this was a gentleman who was one of the former editors of the LA Times, didn't believe in UFOs, thought all UFO people were a bunch of tinfoil hat wearing wingnuts. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, he was taken one weekend when his wife of 30-some years happened to be visiting family out of town. I mean, the author, Philip Kraft, at that point, he's deceased as well. But he was very aware and detailed about what had happened to him as well over, I believe it was a 4-day period, not a 9-day. But the similarities are very, very interesting regarding, the theories that were brought up. Have you ever read Philip Craft's books?
No, I have not read his books, unfortunately, but I'm interested in reading his books.
Oh yeah, it's as a journalist, it actually scared me, the first one. There's a trilogy of 3. I haven't read the other 2, but the first one was very impactful for me. And I would highly suggest, in your research, maybe read that one as well from a journalistic perspective. But the fact that, let's go back to Michel Desmarquet and his family. As he was up there, what kind of information did they start giving them? You mentioned the Bermuda Triangle, the statues of Easter Island. It doesn't matter where we start. Well, yeah, it does. Let's go to the statues of Easter Island. What were those about?
Okay, those were the statues built during the period of Lemuria. Lemuria was a lost continent. About 14,500 years ago, that continent sunk to the ocean. Lemuria was part of that continent that they were trying to build statues to commemorate this group of ETs, the Theobans. At that time, the people on that continent had advanced technologies such as anti-gravitational technologies. They also had the technologies to cut huge stones using ultrasonic vibrational systems. So they were able to use those kind of technologies to build the statues. Then when the continent sank for most of its part, that portion of the continent didn't sink. So that remains to be Easter Island. I actually visited there a few years ago with my family and found that to be fascinating. They spoke about the seven masters, which coincides with the book, the Uba Prophecy. He also talks about the 7 masters.
Did he say who had created them? Why they were created? Were they markers? Were they part of some sort of mapping system?
The statues on Easter Island, he said that they were created by the people on the continent of Lemuria. The continent of Lemuria is located is on the Pacific Ocean between Japan and the United States and Latin America. It's a huge island. I think Hawaii was part of that continent. So was Easter Island, and so those people were originally from another planet called Arimo X3. And the people from Arimo X3 migrate to Earth about 300,000 years ago because their planet was overpopulated. So when they first decided to migrate to Earth, they landed on the northeastern part of the continent. And they actually had a fight with the Chinese at that time. There were Chinese people more than like 300,000 years ago. And then they decided not to do that anymore. They decided to first build a base on the far side of the moon. And then after they established some kind of a moon base, they migrated like slowly to Earth on that continent. So that's why we have more and more evidence coming up saying that some kind of strange alien structures on the backside of the moon, the far side of the moon, is something very, very interesting that everything matches up.
It does match up, and maybe that's the reason why China's also racing to get to the moon to find, and with their rovers and other people, in order to try and figure out what is actually on the backside. Are there bases? Are there people already there? It's kind of interesting to see how it all ties together in 2022.
Yes, it's very interesting. So that's the story of Easter Island. And maybe I can talk about the Bermuda Triangle because I think...
Absolutely. I was going there next.
Yes. When the author was taken away, he actually floated on the air. And then he was taken not first on the spaceship of the ETs. He was taken first on a very strange location, in which he saw a lot of people in the ancient past, people who wear the medieval kind of like clothes, kind of like people from the Middle Ages too. So he was very curious why THAL, the ET, the name of the ET was THAL, why THAL took him to that place. And then THAL told him that, I take you here because this is a parallel universe. And I'm taking you here because it's safer, because people will not see us when we are in a parallel universe. So Michel Desmarquet didn't know what a parallel universe was. So he asked THAL, so what is a parallel universe? So THAL explains, so a parallel universe is actually a place in which sometimes people or ships or airplanes got sucked into because there are some kind of warps existing on Earth that connects the Earth to a parallel universe. So this is why, so THAL asked the author, so you know about the Bermuda Triangle, right? And he said, yes. So that's the explanation of the Bermuda Triangle. And THAL also gave another example, saying that there's a story in North America in which some person went missing or vanished in the middle of the night when it was snowing. So when a person vanishes when snowing, it should have been very easy to find that person because people can just follow the footsteps, the marks on the snow. But then there's a news report saying that the footsteps just vanished in the middle of nowhere. And then people suspect that the person was taken by the ETs, but then THAL said it's not the case. He was sucked into a parallel universe. And then I was very curious. I want to find verifiable proof, and I searched on the internet. So that's a strange case of Charles Ashmore, Ashmore. So there was actually a news report about the strange disappearances of Charles Ashmore. It matches what the description in the book. So that's very interesting. So I think that actually solved some of the cases of David Paulides, of the missing 411 cases, in which the people or young children, they just vanish out of nowhere in national parks, in specific locations in national parks. Because, what I imagine, the parallel universe is kind of like a sphere. It moves around, very, very logical pattern, or maybe it has a certain pattern of moving around in space. So when it moves around in certain locations of national parks, especially like high places, the places of high altitude, people or animals sometimes get sucked into that parallel universe. So that's why, like in David Paulides' cases, there's one case that I remember very clearly that there's a group of people going up hills, and then when one person turns his head back, the other person went missing, and they couldn't find where the person went. So I think it gives a very logical explanation that that person was actually sucked into the parallel universe because there was some kind of a warp around that area.
I love parallel universe talk. You have no idea how much I love that, and interdimensional universes and portals. And I really believe a lot of these portals, just like you say, they're walking into an identical universe where nothing has changed for them, but on our field, they're gone. And it's just one of the logical explanations, I believe, Samuel Chong. We're going to continue with the Uba Prophecy on Spaced Out Radio. We got Samuel for another hour here on Spaced Out Radio. This is a fun one tonight. If you haven't checked out hour number 1, you'll have to do that with our archives. But we'll continue with hour 2 with Samuel Chong with the Uba Prophecy next. I am loving this. Absolutely loving this. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. There's
All right.
nothing- Yeah.
We got 6 minutes here. I'm going to take a quick bathroom break.
Okay.
I'm going to turn everything over to Mr. Fylth here so people can see him. I'm going to mute your microphone, and I'll be right back, okay? All right, everyone. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, because Dave's going to let the dogs out. Bark at Sasquatch. Dave's going to have to go chase after him through the forest, and then Sasquatch is going to catch Dave and break his arms and legs, and we'll be like, where'd Dave go? How come he hasn't come back yet? He's all broken up in the forest, beaten up by a Sasquatch. I hope that doesn't actually happen to him. I don't know, let my imagination start running, and there you go. Terrible, terrible. Oh, dog face boy. Well, I hope everybody had a good weekend. I had pizza on the weekend. I haven't had pizza in a long time. Chicken and jalapenos, in case if anybody's wondering. So this is the Canula humanoid. Apparently somewhere in Finland. I think it was like 1993 or something. And two lumberjacks were lumberjacking. That's the correct word. That just sounds terrible. Good gods. And this little UFO came down, and this dude in a green suit stepped out. It didn't mention if he had purple boots or whatever, so I'm just going with purple boots because the story didn't mention purple boots. So, and I like purple. It's my third favorite color. And then it got out, and then it had like no arms. It had arms, but it didn't have any fingers in this suit. And it was in this green suit, and it had like a scuba diver mask on the front of it. And so it started to walk towards them, and then it turned around and went the other way. Then the one guy got all brave and tried to jump after it, and then he grabbed onto it, and apparently he grabbed onto the boot, and it burnt his hand or something to that effect. I just thought it was kind of interesting. Just gonna have the alien patch, the upside down triangle. That's the official patch for aliens in the cartoon world. Just saying. Usually orange. You know, it almost reminds me of the Starman from the Mother series. Maybe they got inspired from it. Ew, Doug Shelby, don't eat that stuff. Ugh. McDonald's. Ew. Ugh. I've had better dog food. All right, what do we got next here? I need my silver, but it's way over in the corner, so I'll just do that later. Dog face boy, that's the emblem. He like touches it, and he can be like, Mr. Worf, beam me up. Oh, great. YouTube's gonna flag Dave for me mentioning that. Oh boy. I guess he can put it as a pocket too. It could double as a pocket. It's a badge and a pocket in one. He's an alien. He can pretty much do anything that he wants. Look at my boobies, everybody. And when Dave comes back, I'm gonna go wrangle my cats up because they're out prowling in the neighborhood, pooping in other people's yards and stuff like that. Beating up mice, holding birds hostage, stealing their lunch money. Terrible. And you guys gotta have a donaire. That's what you're all missing. Like, if you gotta come to Canada, get yourself a donaire. I bet
Looking
you
good, Phil.
donaires. Hey Dave, you like donaires or what?
Love donaires.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, "Oh, McDonald's has good fries." I'm like, "No, you guys need donairs. You haven't lived your life that you had a good donair from like the real hairy-armed Lebanese dude that doesn't speak very good English, and he makes like the best tzatziki sauce. Just
yeah.
Now I'm starving to death.
Now I'm starving too. Thank you.
Sorry, Dave.
Appreciate that. I want a donair now. Hello to gorgeous Jessica S. for joining us a little bit late. And who else is joining us here? Let's see. Save the Bees. How are you? Nice to have you back. Vaughn Patrick, how you doing, buddy? Nice to see you. 405er, thanks for coming on in. And yeah, we got a great show here tonight, guys. Commonwealth Andrew, good morning to you. YJ Overlander up here in BC, how you doing? Are you guys getting the thunderstorms too? That's probably why I got knocked out there, as we do have a thunderstorm outside the studio right now. Mark D. Truth Seeker, how you doing, man? Good to have you here. Oli, nice to have you back. We got about 22 seconds. Thank you to Simon for a ton of super chats, along with Worsley. The super chat is a wonderful way to show the value that you get out of the show, so we really appreciate that. And thank you to everybody who's shopped recently at spacedoutradio.com on our store. We got some great swag there. Here comes hour number 2.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Oliginous. Oliginous is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot, reading Shirky Poo's Newswire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. The Theuga prophecy, is what we are talking about tonight on the show. And our guest tonight, Samuel Chong, literally went on a world adventure to learn about this novel that absolutely impacted him. It deals with the paranormal, the supernatural, and aliens and ghosts in between. And it's a phenomenal piece of research Samuel has been working on the last number of years. And we're glad to have Samuel Chong on the show to break it on down. Samuel, welcome back.
Thank you.
Oh, man, I don't even know where to go with this. This is so interesting, this book, the Uba Prophecy. Where can people find this book in order to kind of delve into it the way you have?
People can find it on Amazon, and is over there, and also by searching on Google, they can find a lot of information on the topics discussed by the book, because this book actually covers a range of different topics. Like I mentioned, not only the stories in the Bible, but also UFOs, afterlife, reincarnation, the purpose of life, human energy fields, and even like things that are more the things done by the government, the U.S. government, and World War II. Like they say that the ETs were involved in the World War II by not letting Germany to have the atomic bomb before the U.S. And also, things like a very interesting book.
Wow. Okay, so we talked about in the previous half hour about the Bermuda Triangle and the statues on Easter Island. You know, what about ghosts? Where did author Michel Desmarquet go with ghosts and reincarnation or near-death experiences? Okay,
Michel Desmarquet really, before having this experience, didn't really know about ghosts. He was told by the ETs that there are people on Earth, honest people, who can actually see ghosts. And then the ETs, THAL explained to Michel Desmarquet what the ghosts are. So human beings, we have the physical body. In addition to the physical body, we also have the astral body, which is made up of electrons. So when a person dies, 81% of the electrons of the astral body remains on Earth for 3 days, and then gets reincarnated, or maybe goes to another place before being reincarnated. And the other 19% of the electrons remains on Earth, and then until it gets recycled to nature. So ghosts are actually made up the 19% of electrons of that person when the person was alive. And then because of the static phenomena of the electrons, the electrons shape like the person who was alive. And then the electrons also have memories. So you can remember the things or people they loved or hated when they were alive. So this is actually the electrons. And in ancient Chinese texts, or maybe in Chinese culture, people say that like when you really want to get rid of the ghosts, you can just burn them, and you can also just use loud noises to get rid of the ghosts. You can use the sunlight to make the ghosts go away. So it makes some sense, because when electrons meet fire, they have certain kind of reactions. So when you use like sage smoke to get rid of the ghosts, you're actually using kind of like a chemical, or maybe kind of like the burning fire, to cause some kind of reactions with the electrons, the 19% electrons that remain on Earth. So I think it makes perfect sense that ghosts are made of electrons. So this is the explanation given by the ETs to the author.
For you as a researcher, why trust someone's anecdotal experience with extraterrestrials as something of, lack of a better term, fact?
Mm-hmm. Because the book also contains other facts that are verifiable, that are really, really impossible for the author to know about. Because, for example, I'll give you several examples. One example is that when the author was taken on the ship, he went through like different lights. One is yellow light, the other is blue light, and then he was told that that's the disinfection process. So they used colors, strong lights of different colors to disinfect him. So I did research on the effects of blue light, and I found that modern research proves that blue light, at certain wavelengths of blue light, has an antiviral, antibacterial effect. There is also another interesting fact is that when the author was told about the stories in the Bible, he was told that there's a tomb of Jesus Christ in Shingo Village, Japan. And the book was written in the late 80s and early 90s. And at that time, there was no internet, and he never traveled to Japan in his entire life. And I don't think he would have learned that there, like from travel books, that there's a tomb of Jesus Christ in Shingo Village, Japan. But he wrote in the book extensively about describing the tomb, and also the fact that there's another tomb or grave next to the tomb of Jesus Christ, which is a tomb or grave of the brother of Jesus. There's another fact that the book described that the ETs interfered or intervened when the US government sent out millions of needles into space. And that's a very strange fact to be written in the book. And later, some people found out that they were talking about Project Westford. It was launched by the NASA, the US government, just to make the communications. They were intending to make the communications better by sending the copper needles out into space for satellite or whatever communications. And then the ETs decided that that's going to cause a lot of damage to the people on Earth. So they made the needles disappear. So this is the fact that so specific, so verifiable that I tend to believe that if the book describes the facts that are so interesting and verifiable, other facts should be taken more seriously as well. So that's the reason that I believe more about this book than the other books that I've read so far.
Right. Okay. So moving on with ghosts and other phenomena of the paranormal, you mentioned that sunlight takes them away, or he believes that sunlight takes them away. For a lot of paranormal people, they'll say, well, they don't really go away. They just maybe go into the shadows or closets or the darker places.
Yeah, actually, that's what Chinese people believe. Chinese people believe that the ghosts are afraid of sunlight. It's not the author. It's not written in the book. It's the Chinese traditional culture. They believe that if you want to, the ghosts disappear during daytime. But I do believe that ghosts hide into different places during daytime. But the Chinese people don't think so.
Right. Okay. So the idea behind the ghosts of paranormal, do we believe that when reincarnation happens that we automatically become other human beings, or do we become maybe extraterrestrials? Do we become dogs or cats or fish or dandelions or what have you? What did he believe?
He believes that when a person dies, the astral body leaves the physical body, and then and then after a person dies, one goes to a life review process. So everything happened during his or her lifetime is reviewed by the person. So whatever he or she did, the person sees that, and he could feel how other people felt, whatever he did to the other people, whether good or bad. And then, depending on the spiritual learning and spiritual development of that person, he or she may be reincarnated into a different planet or back to Earth again, just to learn to grow spiritually, but never to become an animal, because human beings and animals are different. According to this book, a human being has 9 different bodies. Besides the physical body, there's astral body, there's fluid body, there's a psychotypical body, and there are other bodies too. Well, an animal only has 3 bodies. So God created human beings for a special purpose, is to learn spiritually and to grow spiritually and to experience life, to learn life lessons, and to learn how to respond to life challenges. So this is the whole purpose of being alive.
Okay. So how many lifetimes do we get according to the reading?
As many as we have, as many as we need to learn. The author, he had his 81st life. He was born. He reincarnated to different planets in other lifetimes. He was on a Category 3 planet. He was also on Category 7 planet, and then he was sent back to Earth for a specific reason. And people on Uba, they had like 200 something lifetimes already, more than 200 lifetimes. So as many as a person goes, it depends on how much you learn in lifetime.
I see. So each time you come back, it's for a different lesson.
That's correct.
Is it a spiritual lesson or just a life lesson?
It's a spiritual lesson. Is to learn how to love, how to give unconditional love, how to care about others. Exactly what, according to the book, how Jesus came to Earth and how what the messages of Jesus brought to Earth. So it's life lesson to learn how to respond to the challenges that you face.
Okay, so let's go to biblically speaking here regarding the idea of life after death and the prophecy of extraterrestrials. Where does the Bible come into this?
According to this book, this race of ETs has always been guiding us from the ancient past. Like Sodom and Gomorrah, the destruction of the two cities was done by them, and also they sent Moses to lead people out of Egypt, lead the Hebrews out of Egypt, and also they sent Jesus Christ to us. It's very interesting that what made me really struck about is that they answered all my questions about the Bible. Before reading this book, I didn't believe a single word in the Bible. But after reading this book, I have a different view on how the event occurred, how the stories in the Bible came about. According to this book, Jesus and Christ are two different beings. Jesus, born out of Virgin Mary, was actually indeed born out of Virgin Mary. He traveled to India and died in Japan. Christ, on the other hand, is an ET that was shaped into Jesus. And then his purpose was just to make people believe that they should grow spiritually, and also he died on the cross according to the plan, just to show people that there is life after death. He resurrected 3 days after death, just to show that there is also reincarnation, that there is life after death, and people should also have hope and should be able to appreciate life at that time. It struck me because in the Bible, you never see Jesus performing any miracles before the age of 30. It's only after the age of 30 he began miraculously, very strange, in a very sudden fashion, that he began to perform miracles. People really, I didn't even pay much attention to that before reading this book. It just happened so suddenly. And there's stories about there's stories about Jesus going to India, and also there's a physical tomb of Jesus Christ in Japan, in Shingo Village, Japan. So this is considered by me a verifiable proof, and also a specific fact that deserves people's attention. And I'm a Chinese translator, and I also know Spanish. I also know that there's not a single language in the world that would confuse the word mother and woman. But in the Bible, Jesus called his mother woman. This is a very strange fact to a linguist, to a translator like myself. It just doesn't make any sense that Jesus would call his mother woman. It must be like another reason. So this book gives a very, very plausible, very reasonable explanation on that point.
In regards to who is God and who is Jesus, then, I mean, you broke down who Jesus is, but who is God? What did the extraterrestrials tell Michelle regarding who God is then?
So they told Michelle that God is the creator of the universe. He created the entire world, including planets and also suns, like the planets, and also the suns that planets rotate around them. And it created plants, it created animals, it created human beings, and it inserted a small, tiny part of itself in each of us, each of our human beings. So we are actually, in a sense, part of God too. So God created human beings just to experience the physical life, just to satisfy his physical needs, material needs. So in a sense that God created all the ETs too. It's very interesting that we should separate God from Jehovah or Theoba, which the two have a very similar pronunciation.
Very true.
Jehovah, Jehovah, and it's very similar. Very interesting. So I think this book, at least to me, gives me a lot of enlightenment.
Yeah, I can totally see that. I'm just thrilled by it. All right, let's go into another portion here. Does this mean then, through Michel Desmarques's writing of the Uba Prophecy, that extraterrestrials are for the most part a very how can we put it, a very religious bunch, or maybe religious is the wrong word, but God-fearing, maybe?
Because we are all part of God, so there's no fear to God at all, because we are part of God. And the book really doesn't talk about that we should practice religion. The book actually discourages people to practice any form of religion, because it says that religion is actually a curse on earth. The messages get distorted, and sometimes the priests or the pastors, they try to abuse the messages that are truly helpful to the people, and they sometimes misuse their power. And when people really face life challenges, they really shouldn't rely on specific religion. They should look inside of themselves. For the kingdom of heaven is inside of you. So this is the theme of the book, is that when you have difficulties in life, you shouldn't look outside. You should look inside. You should meditate and talk to yourself, your higher self, like the person above your spirit, like your astral body. Like you can get answers from yourself inside of you if it helps you to grow spiritually.
Okay, so if the ETs believe in this, how long have they been using God as the how can I put this? Have they always known about God rather than trying to find their own ways through science and technology, much like we do here on Earth?
Yeah, they have known God all their lives, and they actually they have a role to play as the citizens of the ninth category of planet. Their role is to guide people on lower levels of planets, lower categories of planets like us. So they provided helps to us in ancient past, and also I do think that they are watching us now, just to see how we react to certain things in life. And but they also want to be with God, be with the ether. They call God the ether, the great ether. They say that being with ether, becoming a part of ether, is more pleasurable than being themselves. So there are 7 Tauri, or the 7 masters, on their planet, and they sometimes disappear, and sometimes they reappear again, and when they disappear, they're with the ether. And speaking of the 7 masters and people on that planet, they all have supernatural abilities, superpowers. They could levitate. Yeah, they could levitate. They can disappear at any time. They can change their shapes into a human being. Like they're 9 foot tall, but they can make themselves become like a human height, like 5 or 6 foot tall, and they can also, yeah.
Samuel, I'm going to get you to hold on right there. We're going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. Hard to believe we only have you for another 30 minutes. This has been a great show so far with Samuel Chong on the Uba Prophecy, paranormal, supernatural, aliens, ghosts, and Samuel's studies on the Uba Prophecy. Next on Spaced Out Radio. And we're clear. Yeah, this is fascinating. I can now see very clearly why you have made this a lifelong journey now.
Yes. It was a very big investment, financial investment for me to fly to Vietnam twice to meet the author. And but it worth it, well worth it, now looking back.
And no kidding. Are you ever going to write a follow-up to this?
I'm thinking about doing that, and I really want to know what the demand is, what people really want to see in my book.
I think the way you've broken it down and the way that you have kind of, in speaking with the author prior to his death in 2018, the way you've broken it down and kind of continued the research of it all, I would love to find out what you found in a part 2.
Yes, part 2 is more about how we react to life challenges, because we are going to be experiencing a lot of real life challenges, financially or physically too, because actually the author of the book, the Uba Prophecy, hinted at the challenges we're going to be facing in the future. And I think it's important to have an open mind and to have independent thinking and to react to it appropriately.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would totally agree with that. That's excellent. Excellent. Well, I'm encouraging you to do that, if you don't mind. I would love to see that happen.
Thank you. I'll do so.
What do you got for us down there, Dirty Fylth?
Startled me there, Dave. I'm almost done my cannula humanoid. All the way from Finland.
Very nice. Very nice.
I was rambling about it when you let the dogs out.
Is that a pocket protector on the alien there?
Apparently everybody thinks it's a pocket protector. It's his badge so he can push the radio button. But it's also a pocket hold. It's also a pocket. It holds stuff.
Yeah. Would you put pens in there?
You could put pencils as well as pens as long as they got the little hook on it.
Makes sense, buddy. Makes total sense. All right, we have about just over 2 minutes here, boss.
Yeah, we are not going to be talking about the pandemic or the viruses because it's a topic, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I have my own feelings on that, but those are off the air.
Right.
Well, so far my voice is holding out.
Yes, I think in the near future is that the economy of China is collapsing. It's going to affect the entire world, including the U.S. and Canada. And I think we have to be prepared. We have to look inside ourselves how to respond to the real life challenges. And this is something that I really want people to notice.
All right, we'll get into some of the prophecy coming forward. How about that?
Right. The book is really not about prophecies. It's about the warnings from the ETs to us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
but I'll be talking about the future too.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. We got just over 1 minute to go here.
There you go, Dave. I snuck 2 pens into his pocket holder for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I want to say thank you to our super chatters tonight. Simon with a bunch of them. Worsley, Dennis, and Backspin, Lala. Thank you so much for the love and support on Spaced Out Radio tonight. It's always a great way to help us on out and show your dedication, as well as everybody who's given us a thumbs up, thumbs down. We're 8 away from 100. Let's hit 100 thumbs up tonight if you don't mind, because it really does help with our algorithms. Hi, gorgeous Paula W. Nice to see you back. And don't forget, you can shop at our store, spacedoutradio.com, and get your really cool swag. So here we go, everyone. We're going to get going here in about 5 seconds. And we is all good. Here we go. We passed the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for tuning us on in. I want to remind you that if you missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read Shirky Poo's Newswire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. We continue on tonight for the final time. Samuel Chong is here breaking down the Uba Prophecy. It's been fantastic so far getting to know all about this incredible book that he has researched the last number of years. And Samuel, there's also a lot of information from extraterrestrials regarding the Uba Prophecy about what's coming up in the future. What did you get out of that?
The interesting thing about the book is that it talks about the technologies that we have on Earth. The book was written in the late 80s and early 90s and writes about the hydrogen engines. It specifically stated that there were hydrogen engines invented at that time, long time ago by the people on Earth, but they were silenced by the big companies, the oil companies. And this is told from the ETs, not the author, by the ETs, and saying that the people really need to get together and to find out what's really going on, who is really controlling the world. Is it the politicians? Not really, because the presidents come and go every 4 or 5 years. It's the people behind the presidents pulling the strings. It's straight from the ETs. They say this to us. It makes me wonder if that's really the case. And I did some research on that too. Unfortunately, my research leads me to the conclusion, yes, the ETs are correct. We have had this hydrogen engines long time ago. We have the clean energies long time ago, but they're not just being commercialized because it's so detrimental to the existing interest groups. So I think this is something that we need to open our eyes and not to be, I would say, brainwashed by the mainstream media. We should have our own independent thinking and to think independently and to look inside ourselves for answers and always use our intuition or gut feelings when we are searching for information or searching for answers. It's no incident that I stumbled upon another book when I was looking for ways to see auras or human energy fields. This was a book written in German. It was mentioned in a forum, a social discussion group that asks people, if you really want to learn how to read auras, how to see auras, read this book. But unfortunately, this book is only in German. So I did some research. I found that book and I translated it into English. The book is called The 334 Thousandth Lies. It's an autobiography of the highest chair, the highest leader of a secret society that started in Germany. It really didn't mention or doesn't mention what the secret society is. It doesn't really name names. It doesn't really name any names at all, not even the name of the author, not to mention the name of the secret society. But on each chapter of the book, there are some like interesting or very strange language that, to my knowledge, is not any language in the world. I Googled, I copy and paste the language, and I Googled it, and I only found the language, the sentences, existing on the websites of the Illuminati. So it's very interesting. It talks about how that highest leader, how he was born, how he rose up to the ladder and became the highest chair of that organization. There was a German branch, there's a US branch, North American branch. The North American branch was headquartered in New York. It talks about the people, high levels of the organization. They have supernatural powers. They can read people's mind by reading people's auras. They can also kind of influence how people think. They can also levitate, by the way. By the way, levitation is real, and we have people on Earth who can do that too. There's a magician called Dan White. He visited Nepal, and he shot a film in which he didn't know how a Nepali monk could levitate himself. So levitation is real for sure. And for the people in this organization, they influence the world politicians in a very subtle way. They never make themselves public, but they influence the decisions to be made by world politicians. It talks about how they do that. But I have to forewarn you, this book is not for everyone. Unlike the Uba Prophecy, this book contains a lot of graphic scenes, the violence, the homosexual abuse, torture, and things like that. But I believe the reason I translated that into English is that I really want people to know the truth, because I do believe that such things still happen nowadays, today, in this world. And it talks about the reason that the author made this book public. And for the future, I think we are going to be facing a lot of challenges in real life, whether financially or physically, health-wise. The key is to respond appropriately, to have sufficient knowledge to know what is really going on behind the scenes, how to respond to them, to their decisions, to their to their schemes. And it requires dedication and research and knowledge. And when you are feeling desperate, don't rely on religious groups. Rely on yourself, meditate, sleep over the problem. You're going to feel much better after you wake up. You're going to find answers from inside of yourselves. Because, as I mentioned before, your higher self, your astral body, is going to give you answers that are going to be beneficial for spiritual growth. Speaking of spiritual growth, I believe that the importance in life is to learn how to treat others the way you want them to treat yourself. To love another, to love one another, because according to a lot of people who can communicate with the dead, they never say that they regret for not buying a Mercedes-Benz, not having sufficient money. The people from the dead always regret that they didn't love their relative, their father, their mother, their children enough or sufficiently. They regret for not being not having enough care to others. So that's what they regret, what they're regretful about. So I think we need to take their regrets more seriously than ever. So for me personally, I'm not going to pay much attention to the material life, the wealth. I'm going to be focusing on how I react, how I respond to my life challenges, how I help others.
That is very in-depth and very deep, in order to put it that way. The prophecy that the aliens gave regarding the future of humanity, regarding the future of economies, the way people treat each other, was there any message regarding that?
Well, one thing I can reveal that is not written in the book, not the one the author told me, but the other thing that the author told me that I can reveal publicly is that there are 12 families in the world that are behind the scenes, behind of everything. And money is the root of evil. They're doing everything they can to accumulate wealth and accumulate power. For example, I would say, let's say China, because I know most Chinese people cannot watch YouTube, so that I can say this publicly. The pharmaceutical companies are taking advantage of the situation what's happening in China by forcing everyone to get tested. And they're making like millions or even trillions of dollars, just by making the government making the requirement for everyone to get tested every maybe like 12 hours or 24 hours. Yeah, this is something that was happening right now. This is just an analogy. There are other things that are happening around the world that people have to really think about, open their eyes, and not just to rely on the mainstream media, but really have to see what's happening around the world. Does it feel right about the things that they are trying to make you to do? Does it really make sense? You really have to think about it. If I speak about it more into details, it's going to be problematic because we are not allowed to talk about it. So I'm just asking you, everyone out there, just to see if everything feels right.
And I think people are becoming more aware. They're becoming more aware of their surroundings. They're becoming more aware that the media, which was supposed to have their backs, doesn't anymore. They're becoming more aware that politicians are more corrupt than they've ever been, whether you're in a democracy, whether you're in a communist type state. And I think people are finally getting to the point where they've had enough. They want a homogenous lifestyle where everything doesn't matter anymore. Like, let's leave the politics aside and just live. It's almost like the message that is being given.
Yes. So here comes the solution. The book actually gives a solution. It actually occurred before. It's the nonviolent resistance that Gandhi showed us how to do that. So we act together in a concerted action in a nonviolent way. For example, like a strike. Because when we do a strike, when we act together in a concerted way, we lose little. But the 12 families, they lose big. If you think about it carefully, it is indeed the case. Because we basically the poor people, we have little to lose, but they lose a lot of their wealth if we don't work for them. But it has to be a concerted action. Everyone has to be aware of it. So we have to raise people's awareness. So this is why I'm asking people to think about it and read this book to find solutions.
As we start to wind things down here, we got about 9.5 minutes left with you tonight, Samuel, and I know our audience is absolutely loving you so far in the knowledge and the way you speak about the Uba Prophecy. When it comes to, little things in life, how should we approach them? Whether we're wondering about the history of the moon, or whether we're wondering about, will there be enough trees in the future? I mean, how do we take these little thoughts where we feel like peons and make them into knowledgeable realities?
I cannot speak for everyone else, but I can speak for me personally. What I'm doing right now is to gain knowledge, not only about ancient knowledge, about about spirituality, but also real life knowledge, and just to see who is running behind the show, and what's really happening around me. And I'm doing my best to help others to raise their consciousness and to help them to know that the world is really not as it seems to be, and they really need to act accordingly, and to love the people around them, and to really focus on the things that are important. By things that are important, I mean spiritual things, things that they can do spiritually, and not to focus too much on gaining more money and to buy properties. As you introduced me in the very beginning, I studied economics and financial analysis. The reason was that I wanted to earn a lot of money in the past. I was ignorant, and I didn't know that the people who print the money, the people who control the monetary systems, are the ones who are the real tycoons or gurus. And no matter how much money I gain on the stock market or the financial market, I'm not going to overbeat them, or I'm not ever. It's impossible for me to gain advantage over them. So that's why I think it really makes perfect sense that I didn't go into that route.
Right. Oh, and
by the way, I also wanted to become a doctor because at that time.
Sorry about that. I don't know why my system keeps cutting out on me. It just started this like a week ago, and I got to figure it on out. But for those, with you having an economic background and being able to see how the markets play out, and the world financial system kind of jumps around for the different countries. Sometimes it's China that has the financial power. Otherwise, it's the United States. It's the dollar. It's the petrodollar. It's gold. And we all know when it comes to extraterrestrials, they don't care about it. They don't give a care if somebody's got $1 million or $1 to their name. It's about humanity. How do you find that balance in between the idea that extraterrestrials want us to go one way with the planet, yet the planet has been dictated by finance for the last several hundred years?
I think a lot of people would ask, why don't the ETs just help us directly, just to appear in front of the White House and declare that we are the ETs who are trying to help you? And I think it's like parents to children. When you're a parent, you don't just give out the answers to your children when they face life, they encounter difficulties. You try to teach and show your children how to solve the problems. So you don't just feed them the meal. You don't just give them the answers all right. You just help them to learn. So I think what the ETs are doing is the same thing. They're trying to spread the knowledge, helping us to help ourselves. So I think there's a saying that God helps those who help themselves. So I think it's important that we grow independently. We don't rely on the help of the ETs. This is a way we learn, we grow spiritually. This is a way that we can advance in life. We can move up on the levels of spirituality or purpose in life.
Very cool. Very cool. For you, what do you do next after all of this?
It's just been a few weeks that I started to appear publicly and talk about things like this. I'm probably the only Chinese guy talking about this, but I'm going to keep doing this. And hopefully, after I learned about what people's interests are, I'm going to be writing a book of my own, myself, just to talk about the secrets of life.
How much fun do you have doing this?
A lot.
Down. What's your favorite part?
Just to see how people react to the things that I talk about. Some people are strongly against what I talk about. Some people are so intrigued at the messages that I try to convey. It always puzzles me why people react so differently, and people who read this book react so differently too. It amazes me, like how different people are.
What has been the reaction of you coming out publicly talking about the Uba Prophecy?
Most of them have been positive, and I have been really surprised. Before, I thought that I have an accent and I'm the Chinese guy, and what do I have to talk about this? Being a Chinese guy from China originally, and but so far it's been really rewarding and enjoying, and I think I'm going to keep doing that. So if people want to hear more, I'll give more.
Well, I think our audience wants more. Actually, I'm pretty damn sure they do. And I have a feeling that there's a lot that you have to give, and eventually we got to get you your own personal aliens to see what they're going to do, because I think this is my prophecy for you, if you don't mind me saying. I think that I know you've been doing this for a number of years, but I think now that you're going more public with the Uba Prophecy, it wouldn't surprise me if all of a sudden one day that Michelle's alien friends all of a sudden come pick you up and take you for a ride. It would not surprise me whatsoever.
Michel Demarquet said that to me. He said he knew them. He knew that they would contact me in the future. But so far, I have not received any contact from the ETs yet.
But you see, that's where the timeline gets screwed up because we don't know their timeline. And and that's what, hey, for every ET contactee out there, it's all about time. And we want to know, and it never happens when we want. So I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen. And I know a few people in the chat room are also believing that as well. So it's kind of cool.
Yes, for some of the things that Michelle was not allowed to write in the book, I wrote in my frequently asked questions on my website. I gave as many hints as possible regarding the one thing that Michelle said is so incredible that he was not allowed to write in the book. That is as much as I can do. I cannot reveal any further because the information is, as like any other information contained in the book, is very specific.
Well, Samuel Chong, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on Spaced Out Radio tonight, breaking down the Uba Prophecy. I mean, it's absolutely revealing, and it's absolutely telling the adventure that you have put yourself on, which has turned into a lifetime goal. And really, on behalf of our audience, we really commend you for doing that.
Thank you so much.
Excellent. Samuel Chong, you need to write a book. You need to do the follow-up, and you need to be prepared for them aliens coming up for you. So we appreciate that. I'll get you to hold on right there. Coming up next in hour 3 of Spaced Out Radio, we're going to head to the swamp with our resident swamp dweller. Then Tim Senor will be here for the UFO report. Spaced Out Radio continues right after this. Great job, Samuel. Great job. That was a lot of fun tonight, man. A lot of fun. Yeah, we're definitely going to bring you back. But you got to do that book. You have to do it, man.
I will.
All right. Yeah, if you need anything, always let us know. We'd love to help out. And thank you so much for your time. That was a fast 2 hours.
Great. Thank you.
All right. You take care, my friend.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Well, there's Dirty Fylth's art for the night. We'll show that. And come on, Dirty. He stepped away from his computer right now. The Canula humanoid. Canula. All right. We'll be right back, guys. And then hour 3 is next. So we'll be right back. All right. How y'all doing? There's Dirty Fylth for the night. We got Uncle Tim coming on in here soon. And we got Gilbert all packed away and put to bed with his straps tied down to his arms so he can't get out. And we're all good. Is this show the Doug Shelby approved? Please let me know. I'd appreciate that. And let's see here. Thank you to I love it, Hallie. Gil is at peace. Oh, that's awesome. I gotta put that one up. Gil is at peace. That's right.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Thank you to everyone tuning us in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Uliginous. Uliginous is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read Shirky Poo's Newswire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. All right, it's time once again. We're going to head to the swamp. Our resident swamp dweller brings us another spooky and weird story.
Hi, Spaced Out Radio listeners. This is Swamp Dweller. It's time for your nightly dose of spookiness on the show. If you have an interesting encounter or a spooky story that you would like to share, be sure to submit them in at swampdweller.net. You can also find our YouTube channel at youtube.com/swampdwellerreads. Now, let's chill out, relax, and together, let's enter the swamp. My name is Shaquille. I'm a 37-year-old Uber driver living in Lucknow, India. I've been driving a cab since I was 29 years old and knew my way around the city. I usually went during the day shifts, but very recently, and for reasons unknown, I was appointed to the night shift for the first time in the company. I didn't mind it. Everything seemingly was normal during the first 3 weeks of the night shift. The week after then changed my perception on the supernatural forever. You see, I was never of the imaginative or superstitious kind, but this incident made me question absolutely everything. Just a few days ago, I was driving through a rural area to pick up a customer. It was 2:37 a.m. and not a single person was in sight. Standing by the side of the forest path was a woman waving her arms in panic. She was wearing an Indian traditional suit. I slammed the brakes and came to a sudden halt. I rolled down my windows and asked her what she was doing this late at night. In a panicked voice, she said,
"They're coming for me. Please drop me off at..."
Address omitted. Coincidentally, to get the customer I had to pick up, I had to pass through the location she wanted to be dropped off. So I gave her a lift, and as soon as she got in my car, she calmed down completely. Not a speck of panic or fear was on her face. I was beginning to suspect that she was going to rob me, but she did not pull any tricks or do anything remotely suspicious. When I finally reached her destination, she thanked me, got out of the car, and insisted me that she pay me 1,000 rupees, which is about $12.81, which was far more than any cab ride paid. It would have been at most maybe $3 to $4. She said she would go inside her house and get the money. I did want to help her out for no financial benefit, but I needed all the help I could get to make ends meet. I canceled the ride of the customer I was previously on my way to pick up and waited patiently. 2 minutes passed, then 5, then 10, then 15. then 30, and when it had almost been 37 minutes, I got out of the car, walked to her house, and rang the doorbell. In less than a minute, an older man came. He looked to be in his 70s. He was short and stout and had an annoyed look. He asked me what I wanted, and I politely told him that I wanted to talk to the woman who had just walked inside that house, and I told him the whole ordeal. The old sleepy man's eyes widened suddenly, and he was visibly shaking. After a good minute of silence, the old man spoke. I have had more than 15 cab drivers walk up to my door and tell me the same story. But the problem is, no woman lives in my house. I live here with my grandchild, alone. But now it's too much to take in. It's too much to be a coincidence. All the while he was speaking to me, he was not looking me in the eyes, so my eyes subconsciously wandered off to check out the inside of his house. And I saw what seemed to be a family portrait hanging on the wall. I interrupted him mid-sentence. Excuse me, sir, I believe I see her in that portrait hanging on the wall. Please, can I have a closer look? The older man looked at me, a bit pissed that I had cut him off, but still turned around and got the family portrait for me. This is her. I pointed at a woman standing beside him, and he was visibly confused. A tear rolled down his cheeks as he began. That is my daughter. She died 8 years ago in a car crash. She was returning home one night at around 2:30 a.m. and was on a phone call with her mother and me. She used to say we made her feel safe during unsettling times. She was dragged off, robbed, and assaulted. All the while, we could do nothing but listen. I even called the cops, who arrived 7 to 8 minutes later. The accused managed to flee the scene. Many people have since reported sightings of a woman on that road. She comes at night and targets mainly cab drivers. If they refuse to help her, she starts running after their cars at inhuman speed, screeching, causing them to crash. I always thought this woman's story was an urban legend, but now I realize it is her. It is my dear child. With this, he broke down in tears, and I stood there, too shocked to interpret whatever had just happened. I bid him a goodbye and went to sit in my car, still contemplating what I had just heard. Maybe this was all made up to scare me as an excuse to not pay me, but the whole scenario with someone being out there at 2:30 a.m. was also weird. I drove to a more populated part of the city and just let everything sink in when I noticed a woman's head quickly peeked and disappeared through one of the bushes in my peripheral vision. I didn't know if it was real or just my paranoid mind playing tricks on me. The following day, I set out once again to investigate what was happening. I knocked on the older man's door with no response. I then rang the doorbell, and again no response. As I walked back to my car door, the door flung open, but no one was in sight. It was 9 a.m. and I decided to step inside. I noticed that this building seemed like a house just yesterday, but was now completely in ruins with spiders and lizards crawling around. I saw the photo of a girl lying on the floor, and unlike the impulsive horror movie protagonist, I got out of there and probably never worked a night shift again.
And we say thank you to Mr. Swamp Dweller for another amazing story from the swamp. And every night you can hear Swamp Dweller here on Spaced Out Radio with another spooky story, because that's what we love to do around here. You can find him on YouTube, over 264,000 subscribers. Go to youtube.com/Swamp Dweller Reads. He's got thousands of stories there for you. And it was incredible tonight. And now it's going to stay incredible, because we're going to bring in Tim Senor for the UFO report.
Nobody's gonna know. They're gonna know.
And it's another great UFO report coming up from Tim Senor here tonight, who was on earlier with Thomas Fessler's Disclosure Tonight, breaking all down the latest in UFO news. And I'll tell you, it wasn't another slow weekend, man. There was a lot of news out there, Tim.
That's right. That's right. Never a dull moment. Getting a little bit of repeat there.
No, you're awfully quiet though.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
Is that better?
Much better. How you been doing, buddy?
Stand by. Oh, I've been great. I mean, fantastic. The family's good. I'm good. The project is rapidly undertaking its own path at this point. And so life is perfect. Thanks for asking. How about yourself, buddy? You sound better.
You know what? I've been working my throat a lot today. If you'd have seen me around 5 o'clock this afternoon, I looked pale. I looked like death had come over me. And then I ate some dinner and I had a nap for about an hour, and I felt really good. So we're energized for tonight. But hey, sometimes you got to do what you got to do in order to prepare. I mean, when you work a long day like I do, you gotta make it happen. You know what I'm saying?
I do, man. You're a champion on the topic, and we're all so glad that you're feeling better. It's good to see your smiling face.
It is a pretty smile. I'm not gonna lie. It is. You know what? I want to quickly say something before we continue, and you don't know about this. This is totally off the trails of UFO talk, but I always like to mention this, and that is, it was 4 years ago tonight that I found out my 29-year-old nephew had passed away due to a fentanyl overdose. He had actually died on July 17th. We didn't find out as a family until the 18th. And my nephew was an addict. He didn't look like an addict. He didn't act like an addict. But he had some tough times, and he was in rehab when he broke down and decided that he needed that one final fix. And he was found peacefully in a park in Vancouver, sleeping on a picnic table, kind of just sitting on the table and or on the bench with his head down on the table. And they tried to revive him, and it didn't work. And it's been a tough 4 years, because I was 15 years old when my nephew was born, and he was my sister's only child. And you never ever get over something like that. And so what I want to quickly do is I just want to remind people that, a lot of times when we're walking down the streets of a city or a town, and we see the so-called junkies that are, hitting us up for change, or acting whacked out because they are stoned out of their trees. A lot of times we call them a bunch of names. We call, whether we call them a waste of time, a waste of oxygen, a waste of humanity, vermin, filth, whatever you want to call them. Okay. We've all treated junkies and people with drug problems, like they are lesser human beings. The one thing that I've learned since my nephew passed away was that every soul has value. Every soul out there has the ability to survive. And just because life may not have gone their way doesn't mean we as humans shouldn't treat them any differently than you would treat your mom and dad, your brother, sister, or your best friend, or your partner, your wife, your spouse, a husband, whatever you may have. And this is just my friendly reminder to all of you that if you see somebody who's an alcoholic or is a drug addict, they just need help. And sometimes that help is walking away and letting them hit rock bottom. But sometimes that help is just a friendly voice reminding them that you love them. And that is something that I am proud that my final words to my nephew, the last time I saw him was at Christmas in December of 2017. But my final words to him were, "I love you." And I'm happy about that. I miss him every day. I miss him more than anything. I would love to talk to him again. I would love to do absolutely everything with him again. I'd love to wrestle with him, even though he was big enough to kick my ass, but I would love to, just have that one more minute, that one more hour, that one more day, just like Tim, you would with your father who passed away just a couple of months ago. We all want that one moment left. And just do me a favor, if you're part of this audience, next time you see an addict, don't call them scum. Don't call them vermin. Don't call them a waste of time or a waste of oxygen. Remember, that's somebody's daughter, somebody's son, somebody's grandchild, somebody's brother, somebody's sister who just lost their way. And maybe it's your friendly hello, your friendly advice, your friendly smile at them, or even your friendly, I care. Words that say I care could do so much to one person. Words do affect people both positively and negatively. And, remember, every soul on this planet, man, has value. It doesn't matter if it's family. It doesn't matter if it's not. It doesn't matter if you hate the person or you love the person. Every soul has value, whether you know them or not. And just take the time and show some humanity to those out there. I was one of them. I remember, when I worked in downtown Vancouver and the so-called bums and the addicts would come up to me, hitting me up for money. And I'd say, get the hell out of here. Don't bug me. I'd treat them just like garbage until it happened to our family. And then I had to learn the hard way that those lost, desperate souls, they just need love. They need some love and they need some attention. Hey, they may be too far gone at that point, but it never hurts to show a little bit of love, even for somebody that you don't know. And if you are an addict, and if you are suffering from any type of drug abuse or alcoholic abuse or any type of physical, sexual abuse, please do us a favor here. Go get help. Okay? You have value. You are worthy of a good life. And there are people out there at all sorts of 1-800 numbers that you could call anywhere in North America and around the world that would love to help you out. And please remember that you are loved. You have value. And whether you believe it or not, people will care and do care about you. So that is my loving message to the SOR crowd tonight. I do it twice a year where I remind this, and that's on my nephew's birthday. He'd have been 32 years old this year. And that's way too young. That's way too young. And he passed away at 29. And I miss him every day. And like I said, and if you saw my hands here, I'm actually shaking because I hate talking about this. I really do. I love the woo. I love everything about what we do here on SOR. But every now and again, we just need to remember that we're family. Every human is part of our family. And, sometimes we forget that. Sometimes we don't see that. But we have to remember that every human is our family. And you may not like somebody. There's people out there who don't like me, and I'm okay with that. But the big thing is, at least remember that whether you like someone or not, every soul on this planet has value. And take the time to show that love to people. And because there's a lot of hurting families out there that need that love, and there's a lot of hurting people out there that need that love, and we can do it together. And once again, if you are suffering from addiction, please go get help. There's a lot of free help out there just waiting for you to pick up the phone or walk in their door and say, I need some help. And it's right there for you. And we love you. We send good vibes and strength to each and every one of you out there who is struggling with addiction or some sort of abuse. And keep up the hard work. You have value. I thank you, Tim, for letting me just kind of butt in and say that at this time. And let's hope that at least one person can feel what we say and get the help that they need.
Absolutely, Dave. Thank you for that honest emotion and outpouring to your audience. That was amazing, buddy. I love you. You're awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And let's get to some UFOs though. We got about 4 minutes here before we got to go to break here. And there was a weird video that came out
That's right.
about two jet fighters potentially chasing a UFO. What's this about?
That's right. So, a brand new published case as of July 18th. This was actually fighter pilots chase Tic Tac shaped UFO at high speed over a park full of tourists. Are you guys able to hear me okay? Is my sound all right?
Yeah, we got you fine, bud.
Excellent. So Alex McCall and his daughter were on holiday in Maine in USA when an unidentified object the shape of a Tic Tac sped over the park and then vanished into the clouds. And so two Top Gun pilots have been filmed giving chase to a UFO over a park full of tourists. Alex McCall was with his school teacher daughter and grandchildren when military jets blasted across the skies at high speed. And so this film that follows up is actually exactly what that describes. Dave, they're starting to show up everywhere and people with their cameras are able to capture it. This case is pretty awesome. And actually, there's a few other people that came forward about this case. And so it sounds like we're going to get even more data points on it to follow up. How do you feel about this?
You know what? When I first saw the video, I wasn't sure, because that's it, to me, it's an easy video for CGI. You get two jets flying over the beach, and then you quickly, tap in and out a Tic Tac that seems to come into play, and then it right before it hits the clouds, it disappears. Then it seems to reappear right on top of the clouds. And I wasn't sure about it. And I remember scrolling by it this morning, Tim, and I was like, nah, there's no way this one is real. I didn't bother doing the follow-up like you did, that there are other witnesses to this, that it was chasing some sort of Tic Tac type craft. So this has sprung my eyes open a little bit and really made me think, well, maybe there is something to this video that we caught here. And if it is, it's quite the rarity.
That's right. And so former pilot Alex, who came out Alex's daughter, was able to film the eerie moment on her iPhone as they roared over Acadia National Park in Maine, USA. And so Alex was actually a former pilot himself, and he was convinced from his 25 years of flying that the white Tic Tac shaped UFO could not have been another plane. And he said, my daughter took the video, it's legit, and we don't know what it is. Pretty convincing stuff.
Has there been any reaction from UFO Twitter and some of the former fighter pilots regarding this video?
That's a great question. This was actually covered by more than one. So this was not just covered by the Mirror and the Sun. This is actually getting picked up by some other major networks. And so since this case is so new, we're going to have to sit on our heels here a moment and just wait for a little more data to come out and some more witnesses, because according to some of these stories, there are. So let's wait and watch.
Oh, man. I would love to get the opinion of somebody like Alex Dietrich or David Fravor or Ryan Greaves on this, or any fighter pilot to come on out. I mean, I had a hard time recognizing the jets. I mean, I wasn't sure if they were F-15s. They did look to be Air Force jets, not Navy jets. I wasn't sure if they were F-15s or F-35s or F-22s, but we could continue that conversation, Tim, as we continue with the UFO report when we return. And we'll end it by saying, with YJ Overlander, if you want to check out the legitimacy of a UFO video, just ask Mick West. And if he says it's fake, it's actually real. The UFO report continues right after this. Love it. All right, my man, we're clear.
Cool.
Yeah, just as soon as you say I'm sounding good, my voice starts going on me. Son of a...
Hey, man, you had to say what you had to say, and that was beautiful, by the way.
Appreciate that. I just realized I haven't even found Shirky Poo's news yet. All right. There's one. Excuse me. Oh, let's see here. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one right there.
I love your guest tonight. Is my internet crashing again?
Oh, I swear to God, this StreamYard is going to be the death of me today.
Well, I might jump out, man. My internet crashed for like 3 hours earlier. My sons are all up.
You've been fine all the entire
data.
show. You've been fine the entire show.
That's good.
Yeah, no, it's on my end for some reason. We got a storm rolling through here. Hey, there's the scowling Greg O'Brien in the chat room, people. If you're lucky, he will scowl at you. If you hit him up for an autograph, free scowls from Greg O'Brien.
That's right.
Right. Thank you again, Dennis. I appreciate that lovely super chat. That's 2 for you. I appreciate that. A bunch by Simon tonight until I think he passed out. Dry Toast, T2E. Thank you so much for that amazing super chat. And Backspin as well. Worsley. Thank you guys. And Lala for the love. That was absolutely amazing tonight. And let's see. Is it going to let me put my stories up now? It looks like it. Let's see here. Yeah, that's dumb right there. We're going to add that one in. And all right, that's a good one right there. There we go. And I just closed one. Son of a wife. That's the one I closed? Yeah. All right. Sorry about that, Tim.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Yeah. And
Thomas.
Little Terrence Hall is back in the chat room.
Awesome.
Yeah. You know, we like him.
Yes, we do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was doing Thomas's show earlier and my internet just crashed. I was doing a show the other day, Mind Forked, crashed. Like as soon as I got into the show, in fact, it's so frustrating.
Oh, I know.
Weird issues with Xfinity out here.
Mm-hmm. All right. I don't know what is with StreamYard. I actually put a note on their community today. I'm trying to figure out what is going on. Apparently, YJ. Yeah, I think YJ and a couple others stated that that one of the issues that's happening with StreamYard is there's some sort of tech issue between StreamYard and YouTube right now. And it's causing these little glitches to all of a sudden, boot people from the program. It's weird because it doesn't kill the stream. It's just actually, knocking me as the primary person out of the room. And like it happens 3 times a show now. Yeah, I blame Rogers and Trudeau too. That's all. This is definitely a Trudeau issue. 100% a Justin Trudeau issue.
Oh, I love it. Again, I must say that is the Canadianist thing you've ever said.
Yeah, I know. We got like 30 seconds. The Canadianist thing. I think that's the second time you've used that on me, my man.
I'm checking it at you as often as I can now. It works.
Oh, man.
You are a Canadianist.
Yes.
You are the Canadianist.
Uh-huh.
The beard and hair combination of glory.
Here we go, brother. Here we go, brother.
Rocket.
We're rounded third. We're headed for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate it. Hey, I want to give a big shout out to one of our broadcast owners, Len Novin, down in Apache Junction, Arizona. Not only has he loves Spaced Out Radio on his radio station called The Rattler, but guess what? The numbers on The Rattler for Spaced Out Radio were going so well that Len has actually bought a second signal and is going to be putting us on that second signal down in Apache Junction on the Bull FM and then AM as well. So thank you. We're going to get a bunch of new listeners down in Arizona, and we really do appreciate it. And thank you, Len Novin and Chuck Contreras and all of our radio stations out there who broadcast us nightly. You guys make it so much fun, and we love working hard for you and bringing you this weird stuff to your radio stations each and every night. So keep it on up, and I can't wait to get down to Arizona. We're going to have to plan, Tim, to head down to Arizona, down to Apache Junction, and meet some of our fans down there. We're going to have to do that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Hang out with Melinda Leslie. She's down there.
We can do that. She's down in Sedona.
With her UFO tours.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I know you're thinking the same thing.
Oh, yeah. We can also hit up the Bradshaw Ranch as well.
That's
in Sedona.
right.
Go look for them dinosaurs that Hoodoo THAL is doing.
And
UFOs. This sounds like a road trip. It'll probably end up in Vegas, just like Denver did.
Everything ends up in Vegas with you.
Everything ends up in Vegas afterwards. But yeah, thank you, Len, for adding us to the Bull. We really appreciate it, and we love it down there that your audience is loving Spaced Out Radio, and it's an absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. All right, my man. Right before the break, we were talking about this weird UFO sighting in Maine, where two jets, which look to be United States Air Force jets. I find this funny, man, because we haven't heard much out of the United States Air Force regarding UFOs and chasing them down. And these craft definitely look like F-15s or F-35s because they are a bigger craft.
Yeah, it's like prying out teeth trying to get details on any of these cases coming directly from the United States Air Force. That's not going to happen. That's why these cases have to be broken by the public. You know, I think just like you're doing, the work you're doing is great. The fact that we're talking about this on the airwaves is massive. You know, these are how the way they, you know, this is the way these cases get talked about and realized by a larger group of people. Otherwise, it's just covered and swept under the rug because it's covered by, you know, initially by rags like the Sun and the Mirror and things like that, and the Inquirer, let's just say, with the alien stole my baby stories. It kind of robs us of the facts, you know. And so a case like this that's really good, sometimes we lose. So, you know, let's press forward with cases like this, and let's not just disregard them as being CGI fakes. Let's look deeply into it. Let's listen to the witnesses. Let's take a good look at the events. Kind of sideswipes me into the next story because it kind of contradicts everything that we're talking about here. I don't know if you're ready for it, but boy, does it just roller coaster right into it. You want to hit the headline?
Yeah, well, let me check it here. Hold on. Because, you know, I'm still stuck on that video, man. I'm still stuck on
we can't show it and describe it to your radio audience because I'd be happy to go over it. I've already taken a look at it.
All right. Pentagon UFO videos and alien invasion warnings are cover-ups for something more sinister, claims an aerospace engineer. Yeah. I know who's done this article, and I will say this. This man who you're going to talk about here has not been in the front lines of ufology for a while. And there are a bunch of different rumors and reasons as to why, but he sure tried to hit a foul ball with this one. Not even a home run, a foul ball, I will say. Go ahead, Tim.
Well, please tap your cigar and I shall continue here, sir. The Pentagon videos believed to show UFOs filmed by the Navy pilots and are being put out to get the public ready for a fake alien invasion is what a new aerospace engineer has claimed. Mike Barra, who says he's worked on many classified military projects, said he has analyzed the videos, often referred to as the gimbal, the tic tac, and the go fast, and found that there was nothing exceptional about any of them. So the TV personality believes that they all show easily explainable phenomenon, such as drones. In the wild theory, believes that they could have leaked to been that these videos have been leaked to prepare people for a fake alien invasion. Self-confessed conspiracy theorist Mike told The Sun, the Navy put out these videos about 4 or 5 years ago now about these objects. There's one called Gimbal Go Fest and one called Tic Tac. And I'm an aerospace engineer and I spent 25 years working in the industry and I now know my aircraft and I also know the capabilities of the instrument. I'm a big aviation buff and I know everything in the sky. I'm sorry for smiling. I was on many, many different programs. Some were classified in the military, some were commercial. So when I looked into these videos, I'm looking at a couple of things. First of all, everything I can see is performing in a conventional manner. There's nothing exceptional about any of these videos. Continuing this quote, for example, there's the Tic Tac video when they say, oh, look, it shoots off the screen at a rapid speed. That's not what happens. Following in this quote, there's little instrument indication that's there on that display. I'm going to start over. There's a little instrument indication there on the display. That's the zoom factor. And what happens, it says it's zooming from 1, which is the normal focal length of the lens, to the zoom factor of 2. And so what happens is when they zoom up and it zooms up past the object and it disappears off to the side of the screen, the object isn't moving. And that's very obvious. So he's tearing apart these videos in a deep way. What is your consideration to his opinion that a lot of this is explainable as camera movement and mundane drones?
Oh, well, as I said right off the bat, I think it's Mike Barra trying to be relevant once again. And he hasn't really made any statements. There's a reason why he hasn't been speaking at a lot of UFO conferences the last 7-8 years. He used to be a real big face on the UFO circuit. And then for one reason or other, whether it's research or whether it's personal, I don't really know. I've never met the man, never talked to the man. I'm just going by what I've heard. So that's the woo rumors of the day. But there's a reason why that he hasn't been on a lot of television shows or UFO conference dockets for a while. And to me, it sounds like somebody who is already made up his decision on what UFOs are. Yes, his resume is impressive. Yes, he has a high level of credentials. However, there's much more to this story than what he is leading on, and I think he's trying to use his credentials as opinion in furthering his own opinion rather than what the facts of many videos and other eyewitnesses or whistleblowers have said recently.
Right. And it's kind of another Mick West that rears its head with an explanation no matter what, and it's never going to be UFO. I find that quite frustrating, as that is not part of the palette in the descriptions as to potential. And so, again, it is one of those things that you have to consider that could this just be, a Navy release of a cover-up? Could you go down the conspiracy hole and think that this is just what the Navy decides to show us as far as drone footage, but there's a whole bunch of footage that we haven't seen, and that's the classified version, and that's the interesting stuff. So it's really tough to walk the line of belief and what's valid. And so again, I do understand that we need to have people out there, not so much debunkers, but let's just say skeptics that are out there looking at the videos and considering all aspects. But if you were to read the same report by another physicist, I guess should remain nameless at this moment, or no, I'll just say it, Dr. Michael Boyd. He publicly came forward with his breakdown, and it's the complete opposite of this man's report. And in fact, Dr. Boyd got into the physics of why it could be something absolutely not mundane, and how it showed. And he explains how this thing moved, and it couldn't have just been sitting stable and the camera moving. So you have to look at both sides of the story, and I appreciate the skeptic, but it seems from the evidence that was shown to me by this skeptic in particular, he only glossed on it and didn't really get into any of the real math.
It was more about bragging about his own resume. But can I add something to this, my friend? Because you and I in Las Vegas met a man who is skeptical. Okay, skeptical, but realizing in one way, and this was about Area 51, where this person worked at one point. And here he is stating that there's nothing UFO going on at Area 51, at least during his tenure there. But in the same breaths, he was also stating that he believed that there were potential craft parked outside of Earth that were hanging out and would come down, pick up people, take them up to the moon, or take them wherever they needed to go. And when we asked him about the secret space program, if this was tied to it, he said he didn't have an answer for that. But this was somebody well-knowledged, well-researched, experienced with personal experiences at Dreamland. I mean, you were right there. You heard it with me. It's nothing we're making up. And so that's the type of skeptic I like, is somebody who could say with fact, no, this isn't happening. Here's the reason why. But on the flip side, it wouldn't surprise me if some of these things are elsewhere. That's how we move the ball forward. Everyone should be skeptical, Tim, but there's a difference between a skeptic and a Mick West or a Mike Barra or other people who have podcasts or YouTube channels.
That's right. It sometimes seems that it's just there to be controversial and to have those clicks and to have people watching. Now, there is a bit of, let's just say, an element of truth to some of the things that they bring forward. And so, we do need that skeptical eye on all cases, and let's be honest, we know that our government isn't transparent. And so if they're showing us videos, we should look at them very skeptically and just look at them for what they are, not leap to otherworldly necessarily. But again, your palette must contain other, if you can't explain it. You don't have to explain everything. We can't. We know that. So again, Dave, the other bracket needs to be in your palette if you're a true skeptic. We don't need debunkers.
And absolutely. And the third one here for our story tonight, Jordan Peele has a new trailer out. Nope. What's this all about?
Oh, Nope looks fantastic. And so I was hoping that you would be able to show some images, at least for your audience. I did send you a few. So in the new trailer, it's great because we are seeing craft. This is a topic that we're all going to be able to sink our teeth into. I'm extremely excited to see the latest. It's got some great actors in this one with some great writing. And so I am a bit of a Jordan Peele fan. I hate to admit that, but so I've been looking forward to this for quite a while. And this new trailer that was just released this month is really juicy, and it's got some great images of saucers and clouds that are hiding saucers that are hiding in clouds, and tornadoes that are taking people up and things like that. So I encourage people to get on the internet and Google it and take a look at the new Jordan Peele trailer that's out for Nope, which is actually an acronym for Not of Planet Earth. Is that right? Yeah,
That
NOPE.
Let me ask you this. As we say hello to the gorgeous and talented Thomas Fessler in our chat room tonight.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, let me ask you this about documentaries. It seems like every week now we have a new documentary coming out regarding UFOs, ET abduction. They all have catchy names. They're all trying to get on Netflix and Amazon Prime and everything. Are we overloading the information now? Or is it about time this becomes as weekly as it should be?
I mean, you and I know that the media is calling this programming for a reason. I watched commercials on, my commercial network, and 2 in a row had UFOs or aliens in them. I mean, is this a soft sell or what? Are they preparing us for this topic or what? Disclosure is happening all around us. I've never seen them selling it harder. Like, it's literally everywhere. And I mean, you're going to see it in all kinds of films coming. I mean, major Hollywood directors and writers, they're choosing this as a topic and they're doing really well with it. And who knows how close to home some of it actually is, right? So keeping our eye on the media is really kind of a temperature taker for this topic right now. We're seeing a huge influx of it. I think Time Magazine actually just had a cover dedicated to it. I've actually picked up a couple. I think Newsweek has been having some articles. I know Discover Magazine has. So it's definitely, the topic, and it's a hot one.
It is a hot one. And, I think it also, in my opinion, even though I asked you the question, in my opinion, I love seeing people put their creative minds together. And the other thing that I'm liking, that I'm seeing in a lot of these documentaries, is it's not if you go back to the 1990s, the 2000s, the 2010s, even up to 5-6 years ago, it was the same people on every documentary with the same message. The only thing that was different was that the documentary title name was different. And whether they were fear-mongering documentaries, or whether they were knowledge documentaries, or whether they were alien documentaries, or whatever it may be, it was still the same people with the same message under a different title. And I like today where a lot of these documentaries, because people are advancing on their own with Adobe editing and video editing and videography, with the prices of cameras coming down, high quality cameras coming down at a cheaper, more affordable cost. I think it's exciting that people are finally able to do their own work and graphics and everything. I think it works. I really do. I'm happy with it.
And how inspirational was Close Encounters of the Third Kind when we saw that in the theaters, at least people of my generation. And, that had its own message, didn't it? It was a message of peace. And I think that perhaps my generation that saw that, if you're going to refer to something in your genre of UFO, hopefully that's a film that you refer to, and you're not going to some of the more Armageddon style verses. Because it is a little bit disturbing that you hear the narrative out there that is being put out that, we're being prepared for a fake alien invasion that's going to be created by our government or media. That's disturbing. That's not a comfortable temperature to consider our society taking a path that way. And so, I like to think that it's more the Close Encounters of the Third Kind kind of interaction that we can look forward to, if there is one. And that's not just the positive side of me. That's kind of more like the historical research side of me. From what I've seen, historically, if there has been this interaction, it looks like our historic interaction has been one that's been of peace, if you will, or of exchange of information, or a betterment for the society as on the whole at the time. I don't think that we've really seen a big sweep. Now, again, walk lightly here, because there are people like yourself that have had experiences that may not be so positive. And again, I hate using the A word, but again, abduction is something very real to a lot of people, and is a real thing. It's a topic, and so we have to be considerate of this as a whole, because look at how it could potentially be treated or even manipulated by the media. Hollywood itself has kind of had a real control over it up until maybe recent years, where it has been controlled a little bit more by documentarians and people that are looking for the truth more. And so taking it out of the hands of Hollywood. But there's definitely been an even exchange, and consider what kind of knowledge Steven Spielberg must have had when he produced that film. He got to work with Jacques Vallée and J. Allen Hynek as his associates on that film. That just blows my mind. So that's a moment where reality and Hollywood did shake hands.
Well, you know what? It's either Steven Spielberg of love or M. Night Shyamalan of dark when it comes to aliens and UFOs. And right now, unfortunately, the media is leading towards M. Night Shyamalan and Signs as a reasoning that we got to prepare for the evil aliens to come on down and really, really mess with us. Well, Independence Day 2 would be a sidebar 1A on that side, I believe.
That's right.
Hey, we got Randy Quaid going to blow up the ship. I'm back.
Well, you remember at our sit down in Las Vegas, his grandfather spent quite a bit of time and effort on building what?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We got Mr.
Underground shelter.
Rocking in the background with Little Brother is watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, at work, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAB, Facebook, the Space Travelers Club, and on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. I know you're out there somewhere. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. I know you're out there somewhere watching me. Yes, the Woo Train has docked for the night. But soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we got room for them too. Take care. Good night. I don't want that. All right, there we go. All right, we're good. Oh, my hair tonight. I look like the former bassist of Nightwish.
Fun show, buddy. Thanks for having me on. That was
fun.
Anytime.
Look at little Terry Hall hanging out, and the little bombshell bomber, and the little go-go Teresa.
Love it. I can't believe that my internet's hanging on tonight. I'm so stoked.
Yeah, I got to figure out what's with this StreamYard. I was reading a couple comments from Eugene, and YJ Overlander said that other people have been struggling with StreamYard as well. So I put a note on their Facebook page just to kind of, get the WTF of what's going on.
Did a great show earlier before my internet dropped on LDAP systems with Tom King on Thomas Fessler's show.
Nice.
Check it out. Your audience should definitely go check it out. It's
100%.
awesome.
We always
really
want
watch it.
checking out Thomas's show.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
it was a good one tonight.
good.
Yes,
I got
good.
it late. I fell asleep, man, and I zonked hard. And when you wake up from a nap and all of a sudden you feel like a zombie. I had that zombie thing going on for a while. Then I was
Ooh.
couldn't even get focused. It was like 20 minutes before showtime, and I was like, oh shit, I hadn't even downloaded Swamp Dweller at that point yet. So it was kind of freaky. But
Behind the scenes with Dave from SOR.
oh yeah.
That's fun. That's fun, dude. No, that's good. Those are the days we like as the audience. When you're scrambling and look stressed, that's fun for us.
So let me give you. I had a great talk with Len Novin today. Great talk. He's the owner of the Rattler down in Apache Junction and is now bringing us on to the Bull. His audience is, he said, the remarks he gets from our show from his audience are phenomenal. And the best part about it is this new signal he's trying to pick up will be able, it's a giant signal that he's trying to be able to pick up here. And if he can get it done, that signal would broadcast us to the potential of 4.2 million homes.
Yay.
Yeah.
They're
I mean,
gonna love
that's huge for us, you know?
it. That deep chocolatey voice of yours spread across the land. Love it.
Well, the other thing too is we're going to be talking to him very soon because he believes that he can potentially get us on some more stations in northern Arizona and maybe into New Mexico and California, which would be cool. And, like we're not trying for those. You know what? It's nice to get into the big markets. It's really nice to get into the big markets. And, you get those bragging rights where, hey, I'm on in Phoenix or I'm on in Toronto or I'm on in New York or LA or whatever. But those radio stations there have become so corporate. The chances of an independent syndication like us are, it would be like hitting the lottery to get into a big market station like that. And it's difficult. It's hard. I mean,
Nice.
the days of just being able to call up a radio station and say, hey, I got a great show idea, put this on, or I'm a listener, I would love to hear this on our station. Station managers don't listen to that shit anymore. Unfortunately, they don't listen to the public anymore unless it's something that's offending the public. And that's the only time they listen now is when the I'm offended crowd calls up. And so for us, what we're going to be focusing on is over the next little bit as we get our business plan together a little bit more accurately this week, we're going to be more focusing on developing relationships with mid-size and smaller radio stations. And I was in talking to Len about that today. Oh, you got me sleeping. You totally got me sleeping. You dirty bastard. Look how peaceful.
Downtime Dave.
Oh, we hadn't even taken off yet.
Can't handle the truth.
You dirty bastard.
Well, I've got lots of behind the scenes stuff like that. I'm happy to share.
I know. I saw you. I had to cut you off a couple of times because I was like, you dirty bastard. Not even telling me, you dirty, dirty bastard.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Got to keep it real for your audience flow. Dave doing the strut. Oh, it's a little short. It's a little
Oh,
short.
dude, I hate that one. I didn't even want you filming that one.
That's right. That's why I did it.
Oh, man.
Dave does not want to be on film,
Dave hates being on film.
but I made him.
Yeah, you did, you dirty bastard.
Dave in Vegas. Vegas. I kept it short. Only a few seconds.
Oh, I know.
But I did also get Janet Air. There's some Janet.
Oh, you did get this.
Yeah, there's some Janet. Just taking it off there as we were driving in his car.
Yeah, that's Janet Airways taking off right there.
That's right. Janet.
That was kind of cool. Just as we were talking about it, all of a sudden we're passing the runway, and there goes Janet down the runway.
Right at 4:00 or whatever. Yeah.
That was good timing.
It was 3:59. I took that.
Yeah. Hey, Alex Kuhn, how you doing, man? Oh no, what's this one? Oh, that's you're leaving, or is that coming?
This is coming in.
I remember you filming that.
Yeah. Sorry for the reflection, y'all.
You know what sucks is I look at that film, man, and I'm like, oh, that looks like home. Why couldn't that be home?
Everyone, Dave wants to move to Las Vegas.
Dave
Not
loves.
sure how to. It was 114. I was like, you can melt out here. He's like, I love it. I don't get that, everybody. But it was fun, and it's if you like that, then yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I will say this: I am down 8 pounds since I got home.
Congratulations, dude!
Yeah.
Success. He told me before he left he was going on the diet, so
I'm now from morbidly obese to just straight morbid.
Oh no.
No, I'm
not
teasing.
At all, man. You're great.
I'm teasing right now.
But congrats, because every pound counts. 8, that's a lot, dude.
Yeah, man. Oob to Joe's Main, you've got aliens. Yeah. By the way, Joe had his. Remember, I was telling you the story about the. Was it you, Tim, that I was telling the story about the coins, putting your coins on the dresser?
No.
Please
share.
So I've been telling our people who believe they're abductees for a few years now that if you think you're being taken, put coins on your on a counter near your bedroom, and you kind of put the meditation out there or the prayer out that when you land. Or you get back to your room, and the aliens put you back, either ask them or ask them to help you stack your coins or unstack your coins. So Joe has been doing this experiment for years now, almost 7 years that he's been listening to me. And the other day his coins were stacked. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's the first time his coins got stacked, he had scratches all over his leg when he got back.
Here's a little MUFON. Deviant MUFON.
Oh, that's me speaking. Is that before the computer went down?
Yes.
My hair looked great up there.
Still does, buddy. You're a champ.
Yeah.
So much fun. Great, man. Really great. This was the very beginning. Notice that it's totally empty. That was packed with standing room only by the end. Let's see if I've got the after.
Yeah, you got to show this. It was nuts because, hi, Barbara Flowers. Yes, I've got a sinus and chest cold. It was totally nuts because when we started in Denver, there was barely anybody in the auditorium. And by the time we ended, there's got to be over 400 people in there at that point, Tim. It was jammed. Yeah.
So you
That's
guys saw it was empty before, and this is actually in the middle, and there were people standing, and then at the end there was a long line of people trying to get to him to ask him questions. He had to be ushered away. They ushered
Yeah.
you away. Champion.
My bodyguard Tim, he ushered me away.
Yeah, good stuff. I look intimidating. I can look. Well, no, I don't. It's interesting though for MUFON. Typically, the fan base. I'm not gonna say too much, but you can just guess what age average we have as a fan base. No big deal. It's MUFON. It's all good.
The hell
Good
happened?
stuff. It was fantastic. Everyone involved was great.
Yeah, it was a great time. It really was a great time. And okay, there's the end there. All right, sorry. I would
Sweet.
totally would do another MUFON conference.
Yeah, for sure.
They invited us.
It was a really nice spot too. This is
What?
not a great. It's kind of hard to see.
But it jammed up there, man.
It sure did.
It jammed up there.
It was hilarious, actually. You had them laughing, so that's helpful.
Mystics Walk, how you doing?
Here we go, Mr. Suit. I think we both had on a suit.
We both did. We were looking hot. Let's just
Shiny.
be honest.
I have a heck of a shine going there. Typical Tim fashion. Super shiny.
You put some nice beard oil in there or what?
I do nothing. I just shave in the shower and walk away.
Oh,
I'm a very low maintenance dude.
I will say this though, and reading where's the comment here? Alien Critters comment. Yeah, lots of senior citizens. I would say that MUFON has a real identity crisis coming up in the next 10 years or so. Because
what do you guys have in Canada? Do you have a MUFON Canada?
There is on Canada, but it's not very well organized. There's one investigator in British Columbia. He's a great guy. There is, I don't think, anybody in Alberta or Saskatchewan for MUFON Canada. It's mainly an Ontario-based think group. They can't, in my opinion, they're good people, but they have MUFON treats them not like another country, but treats them just like they would states, like individual states. I don't think that's right.
But isn't it territories?
IDA Roberts, you would think, but not for MUFON Canada.
Okay. That's a shame, man.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, I want to drop a lab up there. Get some eyes on your skies.
Dude, last night, I was listening to After Hours, and then I went out on my patio because it was so warm out. And I was, we had a moonless night last night. And literally in a span of about 6 minutes, I had what looked to be 7 satellites fly over, like directly over my house. It was an active night last night. And I've stood out there, man. I've stood out there on nights where literally I've seen nothing, no satellites moving or anything for the first excuse me, for the first 15, 20 minutes I'm outside. And last night, like 6 minutes, 7 minutes, I saw like 7 satellites.
Dude, I didn't realize when I moved to Oregon that I would give up using the use of my nose. I can't breathe at all out here for allergies. It's ridiculous. It's just like,
Oh,
forget about it. It's like, it's ridiculous,
at least your nose works.
right?
I'm a little
Yeah.
jealous of it, to be honest. At least your nose works.
My phone sends me little updates though about the weather. The updates that it gave me during the winter was like, tomorrow's going to be a sick day. It didn't even bother telling me the weather. It's just like, it's crappy. You live in Oregon, stay home.
Yeah.
It gets nuts here, dude. We had an ice storm where everyone was just frozen in place. It was absolutely frigid.
Come to my house in the winter.
Can't do it, dude. It's the same way you want to go melt out in Vegas. I wouldn't want to go freeze my what's off up there in BC.
Low
champion. It
Uh,
is beautiful, though. I'll hand you that.
If you go to the UK Mirror, Low Pro, go to the UK Mirror website. The video is on there. I'll be right back. I got pee, man. Be right back.
Dude, so tempting. You make me want to leave when you do this. Leaving me with your audience?
Why?
Because what am I going to just go through material? I've got stand-up material I could run through.
Well,
I'm going to go back up on stage.
talk about your show tonight on Disclosure.
I can't hear. Are you in the bathroom right now? Because that is odd.
No, I'm standing by my door in the studio. Right here. Hi.
What do you have, a bottle? How are you multitasking, going to the bathroom and talking to me?
Because I haven't made it to the bathroom yet because I'm talking to you.
Okay, go to the bathroom.
I'll go to the bathroom.
Oh, good stuff. Did you ever notice that nostalgia just ain't what it used to be? It's a thing. Yeah. It's a joke. So let's see who's in the chat. We got Kim Jellin. Thanks for laughing. I appreciate that. Kim's gelling with my jokes. Dogface Boy, what's up? In the chat. Lunar Sparkles 1. You are here and you are gasping for air. I hope it's from laughter. Bomber. Dave is the best multitasker. Oh, you guys, I've heard stories about podcasters that would curl your toes. Multitasking. You don't want to know what these guys get up to on these long hauls. Forget about it. Think trucker. So Haley's laughing on the inside. That helps. Terry, what's up, dude? Thought you were going to bed. Let's see. Grandmaster UV, of course. All right, he's done. He wants me off the stage. He's giving me the hook. He's like, get this guy out of here. Nicholas Shaughnessy is saying Big Texas. So what's up, Nicholas Shaughnessy? Bigfoot guy. And there's World Bigfoot Radio. Snowmobiling, -35. Forget about it. I used to ski race over on Whiteface Mountain, Lake Placid, and it would get the wind chill when you're skiing. And with same thing, -35. It feels like blades, like cutting your skin, I'm sure. Dave's like, that's nothing. To me, that's hardcore. So right on, dude. Let's see. Piss jugs and lots. Okay, yeah. Low pros pretty much nailed it. Piss jugs and lot lizards. Terry, this guy gets it. Okay. Jessica S. 24 degrees here before. Okay. What else we got here? Running through your chat. And Palmer's like, get used to it, Tim. You're so right. I should. -24, Jessica S. Yes, that is freezing. For sure. Larry Schultz is like, quick, everybody hide before he gets back. It's good advice because I will call you out. if I see you in the chat right now. Magnetic Universe, what's up with the RV? That's a good question. It's ready. We're moving. We're actually going to be at the location the 25th of this month. So we moved up pretty rapidly. So it is happening quickly. We're super stoked, and we appreciate all your support. No water or electricity up there. That is correct. And so we have those solved as far as problems, but yeah, that's the thing. Yes, it is exciting. We may get some new data. We may get chased out of there by skinwalkers. We don't know what's going to happen, but hopefully it goes well and everyone stays safe and healthy while we're up there, because Mr. Terry Hall is in the chat, and he had an incredible experience up at Blind Frog Ranch that was definitely skinwalker related in my personal opinion. And I mean, I only know what the legends are, and I kind of saw something firsthand that seemed to follow in the legends. So there's definitely something up in that area. Here he comes.
You're a legend.
Relieved.
You're a legend.
There's the legend. There he is.
You are a legend.
Nah. Good stuff. Everyone's really happy to see you back, because I was riffing.
Were you? What were you riffing?
I was just saying hi to your chat and letting them control the dialogue here with what, chat stuff.
Yeah.
I almost just left.
You're not allowed. You can leave if you want, actually. Just kidding.
Oh, Dave.
You know I love you.
You're just so photogenic, man. I can't look away.
Oh, stop.
I can't leave. Stop.
You
stop.
just.
You know what? I did see Bigfoot tracks, but I might have made them myself.
Oh, nice.
And they were tiny. So Littlefoot? I guess this would be Littlefoot tracks. That's for your... There you go. There's your after hours. You guys got it. I will not do it with the Howie Mandel voice, though.
Come on, give us Bobby. Give us Bobby.
Can't do Bobby. I think it's trademarked. That was it. That was well done. That was swallowing Bobby.
There's gorgeous Aussie Ange back in Australia, who left Vegas on the 10th when we arrived on the 11th. She's like, Tim and Dave are coming. I'm out of here. Metal Gaming, good to see you. Have you worn your Sasquatch socks yet?
It's wicked hot here, so no. I haven't worn anything above my knee, because those are some stretchy socks, man. They're like, that's a full calf. It's too hot for a full calf.
Socks. They'll keep you warm in the winter.
They will. I considered wearing them on my ears. Looked silly for the show.
Did. It would have.
I can wear them in lots of places that are unexpected, if you really want me to.
Oh.
Telling you, man, after 9, I get silly.
Excellent.
So what are you doing there? Are you prepping your upload?
Yeah, I'm already sending it to two of the stations here.
Hey, I got to tell you, your After Hours crew is awesome. So much fun. I've been watching this past weekend just like glued. You got a great crew there, buddy.
Look at Aussie Ann. She's like, no, Dave, I was looking forward to meeting you in person. I left on the 9th. I was in Vegas 6 weeks. Couldn't have been 6 weeks in 2 days. Couldn't have been. I know it's a bummer.
Just missed her. Next time.
I
Come
know.
out to the desert. Come out to the Uinta Basin.
Yeah, we're going to have
chance. You're coming, Dave. You don't know it yet, but you'll be out there.
There's another conference down there in September.
There is.
Are you going to that?
Well, yeah. And Chris Lito's going to launch another balloon there, so I'll be there for that and support.
Very cool.
So absolutely, yes, I'll be there.
Very cool.
Our project will still be there as well. We're probably going to be there for quite a bit. So at least that lab will be there.
I'm just pressing mute so I can blow my nose. Hold.
Mute on, my friend. Mute on. We don't want to hear that. When Dave blows his nose, it sounds like the angels trumpeting. I don't know what that sounds like, but it's like music. Why am I talking?
I can breathe again.
Nice.
Barely. All right. Let's send this one off. There we go. That one's on its way.
Dude, your chat is so much fun.
Oh, dude, they're awesome.
They're so interactive and awesome. I love them.
When Dave blows his nose, he also farts. Not this time. Not this time.
Grandmaster UV is asking where the Uinta Basin is, and it's with a U. Starts Uinta Basin, and it's in Utah. It's near. Well, we're gonna be in Vernal, Skinwalker Ranch and all that area up there. Blind Frog Ranch.
That's a good time.
Yeah, it's gonna be really great, and we're gonna get a chance to meet all kinds of interesting people up there too. So it's gonna be informative, and we'll be live streaming here starting the 26th. We'll probably be up and running with a live stream there.
Nice.
The 26th of this month. Yep.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, but
how long is setup going to take you?
I mean, it's really just kind of already done. It's just a matter of moving the lab to the location at this point, and then we'll just be bolting on things as they show up, adding on components.
Right.
So a lot of it, is going to be handheld, and then a lot of it's installed on the lab itself. So, yeah, a lot of data going to be collected in all different ways. We've got lots of camera gear looking into multiple spectrums, FLIR mounted camera. Yep. Telescope. Oh, there it is. Bring it on, man. Wildlife.
These are some of my favorite. I love the oryx. Look at that. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of them.
Look at all the UAPs. Oh my gosh. Just
kidding.
The birds and bugs. Wow. That is a lot of birds.
Underneath this big rock here, there's a sprinkler head that they turn on and off to keep the water going.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is your happy place, if you will. I see it on your video feed all the time. That's great.
Oh, I love this. The Namibia desert.
Orcs.
Those horns are amazing.
Joe Monk spent some time out in the Uinta Basin Range, so that's cool. Mm-hmm. He knows what we're getting into.
Yeah, I flew over Joe Monk on the way home.
Indeed.
Flew over him and flew over Grantavius, Maximus.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the size of that sucker, man.
Yeah, they are massive.
I like to see one of them up close because their coloring is gorgeous. Hey, River Dogma, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, we're gonna have to start planning Vegas here pretty soon for next year. We got the weekend. We just got to figure out: um, are we going back to the Golden Nugget, or are we gonna? I liked the Tuscany. I really did.
Yes, you did.
It's nice. It's
Yeah.
like 2 blocks off the strip, or 3 blocks off the strip, and gorgeous
Right.
Amy Vegas. Oh, I don't know if she's listening. She works there, and it's a beautiful place. Really is clean. It's tiny.
Right. Right. Keep in mind, audience, we did get put up at the Caesars. It's not like we were like in a shambles when we went up there to Vegas. And so he's choosing this over Caesars. So I'm just busting your balls. He's not a main drag kind of guy. He likes the smaller strip.
Now you're talking. Now you're talking bullshit. I love the big strip.
He wanted to go get M&Ms. He just was like, let's go to the M&Ms. It was like being with a 6-year-old. Well, I am dragging you through it a little bit.
I didn't know what my son would want.
You're breaking up, man.
I said I didn't know what my son would.
That's right.
I don't know.
The funny part was, on the flight home, I sat next to a lady who was just fisting M&Ms and drinking soda. I was like, if she had been with Dave, he would be so happy. He could be getting the M&Ms. It just made me think of you.
I've never bought M&Ms. Hold on. I've never bought M&Ms at the M&M store.
I don't know what to do with that information.
I only buy the swag that's there because I got some cool stuff.
Okay. It would be funny to go all the way to Vegas and just come home with M&Ms and be like, yeah, but they're from Vegas.
Right?
I don't know, man. Like I said, it's past my bedtime.
That's my bedtime too.
Right? I'm so glad to hear you. You're feeling better, man. I can tell you're feeling much better.
My sinuses, I feel great. It's just my damn sinuses are just being a bunch of poo-poo heads.
Right. That's right. Darn sinuses. Well, I think I'm probably going to do the old check out at this point. What do you think of that?
You go,
How
man.
do you feel about it? Is it all right?
I'm with it, man. You go get some sleep and go snuggle up to your lovely wife and, put some Howie Mandel on and you'll be fine.
She gets Howie Mandel on every night.
Oh, my.
That was a good one. I mean, a Howie Mandel lookalike. But not, I don't even like. Can we change this? I hate that. This whole, I'm not him.
Why you grow a little mohawk? Grow a little mohawk.
I should bring the mohawk back.
You totally should.
I had one in the 80s.
Then we'll get Terry Hall to mohawk it up as well, and
I want him to do the monk. He should do the monk.
Oh yeah,
just the O, or I could do the monk. He could. I could probably do the monk. Poor Terry.
All right, buddy.
He's out of here. All right. I will also be saying ciao. Have fun with your orcs.
Will do. Take care, Tim.
Ciao.
We'll see you. Bye. Ciao. Hi, Michael Gutierrez. How you doing? Thank you to Tim Senor for another great night. He's a good dude, man. Good dude. Yeah, we're going to get Vegas planned up here pretty darn quick. And we'll go from there. That way you guys have a lot of time to prepare. We'll get it on our website. And you guys have a lot of time to prepare for an amazing weekend of Spaced Out Radio in Las Vegas, May 19th to 21st, 2023. It'll also be the celebration of Dave's 50th birthday. So I want to make sure all of you guys are there, man. We'll have some fun. There we go. All right, where are we here? We are fully uploaded. And that is cool. So let's switch this off and go like that. Tomorrow night on the show, we have Debs Shakti coming in, talking about quantum consciousness. We've had a lot of requests for Debs to come on the show and talk about consciousness, hypnotherapy, aliens, ET abduction, which she really specializes in. And we're going to have a lot of fun with her tomorrow night. Hopefully my voice will be a little bit better tomorrow. But I want to say thank you to Simon times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Simon times 9. Worsley, Backspin, Lala, Steve times 2, Dry Toast, T2E, Dennis, I believe times 2 as well, and Thomas for the amazing super chats. Really appreciate it. And don't forget, you can get your El Lovni Volador t-shirts and other t-shirts at SOR, spacedoutradio.com on our store. Make sure you fill it in properly because apparently a few deals haven't been brought out yet because of people not filling the things out properly or the form out properly with their address. I'll be back tomorrow night. I'll be feeling a little bit better. I'm feeling better each and every day. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for an amazing night. And you guys go get some rest and we'll talk very soon. Take care. Peace.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
You need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.